Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the Queen's Court monthly edition. I miss you guys. I don't think I've been here since maybe early June. So we got a lot to talk about today. I have the panel with me: Tony Crow, Eru, DJ Shuttle. We're gonna do a rapid fire because we haven't been together for a minute. So we're gonna do a rapid fire and just go over really quick. I'm just interested in their thoughts on DiVincenzo, Obi Toppin, really quick. I know Sim has done a great job on this channel with the off-season report. So if you've been watching him, you're pretty much caught up. But again, I'm just interested in the panel's thoughts on it really quick. Then I want to talk about, just how the off-season will impact us on the season, for the upcoming season. Um, will we be better? Will we be worse? Will we maintain? We'll talk about the Athletic article that had the Knicks. They ranked all 30 teams championship contenders, almost championship contenders, pretty much playoff teams, and they had the Knicks in the play-in. Thought that was a little low. We'll talk about that as well, and then we'll talk about Emmanuel Quickly, his extension, and why we never talk about Emmanuel Quickly starting. It's just a given that it's Grimes. We never talk about Quick. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I'll say, and then we'll talk about RJ Barrett, possibly those backup power forward minutes for Obi Toppin. And for all the RJ lovers in the house, there was a mix-up in translation between me and Sim in terms of the show. It wasn't about RJ coming off the bench. It was about RJ picking up those backup power forward minutes in addition to the minutes that he has, because it doesn't look like we're going to sign a power forward, and also about quickly starting over Grimes. For all the RJ stands and fans and lovers, pipe down, okay? It was just something that was missing in translation, okay? So sit down, relax. It should be a good show. All right. Let's bring in the rest of, including Ajay. Salute, DJ Shuttle, Tony Crow, Ajay, Eru. How's everybody?
Peace, Queen. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black, it's time.
Pipe down in the chat, okay? Pipe down.
Definitely. Shout out to the chat as well. Pipe down. It was a mistake. My goodness. All he did was show up in the playoffs. All right. Okay.
They coming for you, huh, Queen?
Oh my goodness!
Nah, listen. You got them on their toes though, so they watching. That's good. That's good.
Hello, Queen. What's up, fellas? Oh my Queen, I'm proud of it. It's the all-star cast you got over here, man. You got little me in the middle of all these heavy hitters, man.
Nah. You right up there with them. Listen, I just want to do a rapid fire, like I said in the intro. You guys have probably talked about this on your respective channels, on respective shows. We've talked about it on the Just Nick and His show on the Dope Soul Sports Talk channel. But I'm just curious, because we've never talked about it here, your thoughts on the DiVincenzo signing and your thoughts on Obi Toppin no longer being a part of the team. Really quick. We're going to go Shuttle, Crow, Eru, Ajay.
I gotta tell you, coming out of Villanova, I was a very big fan of DiVincenzo, actually, and and I watched Villanova. I watched Jay Wright I'm from Long Island. Jay Wright, Hofstra, so I followed Villanova very closely. I thought DiVincenzo was gonna, be where he is at. Basically, last season, I thought that's where he would have been at when he first came into the league. So, being that I've been such a big fan of Grimes, I'm a little torn by bringing him in, but at the same time, I feel like that Quickly could potentially be dealt like in the blink of an eye off season during the season. And DiVincenzo does give some flexibility to play in the backcourt with, as a point guard. He also gives Grimes somebody like behind him so he can't get comfortable to push him and keep him on his toes. So I feel like, from a camaraderie standpoint, obviously with Hart and Brunson, that's gonna be a positive factor. His 3-point shooting is excellent. So, I feel like there is a lot that there is to potentially benefit from, some short term and others potentially long term. His contract also is very smart. And if he needs to be dealt in a year or two, he could be included in the deal too. So, yeah, I mean, smart deal, good player, and I think he'll be effective.
Okay. Any thoughts on the Obi Toppin trade?
I mean, sorry to see you go, but you had to go.
Okay. All right. Tony. Salute.
You're muted.
You muted. You muted.
My bad. What up? I'll start with Obi, and I honestly say I felt like we didn't get enough value for him back. That's my biggest issue with it. So it's not the fact that we moved him; it's more of what we got for him. I feel like the return we got, we should have moved them way earlier. You know what I mean? I think anytime earlier we would have got more value for him, or even waiting, maybe we would have got more value for him. I mean, 2 second-round picks and not necessarily good second-round picks. I wasn't impressed with that. All I could think of is they were doing him a solid, maybe doing Indiana a solid, and maybe making it a respectable relationship moving forward. So now if they want to make the next move, you know what I mean, they'll have some negotiation wiggling room relationship.
Easy to get them on the phone to talk. I get it.
So other than that, I didn't think he was gonna be here long term or had the opportunity here long term to really thrive. So that was Obi. What was the first topic?
Any thoughts on DiVincenzo?
DiVincenzo, honestly, I've been more impressed about what I hear about him from other people, like Steph Curry saying, you guys got a good one, and coaches and people around the league talking about him. Even going back to like Milwaukee days, I was doing some research, so it's always been real good things that other people around the league have said about him. So I'm more impressed with that. Like excited, like all right, maybe we got a gem, a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? Very versatile. So I think he could fit in start, bench at the 2, 1, whatever. I think he could fill a lot of roles. Not a bad defender at all. So all those things just fit right into. I think he's primed to be health. Assuming he's healthy, he's primed to have a breakout season.
That's what I was thinking. The Knicks have been pretty fortunate in getting players before they break out. And Brunson, and I would even throw Randall in there, though I don't think they thought either one of them would be this. So maybe he's on that trajectory as well. Ebro, any thoughts on Obi, Toppin, or DiVincenzo?
Well, people cry a lot about losing players, like losing Obi, losing this guy. Oh, if we trade him, who's going to replace him? But DiVincenzo is going to replace IQ in no time if we decide to put him in a trade. So these players are a dime a dozen. You can find talent all around the league. Like you said, Steph Curry vouched for DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo's last game in college, was a monster game. Led them in to the championship game that year. So I mean, he's a good player. You want to talk about ball handling? I think one of the Knicks' major problems is ball handling. If Brunson is not on the floor, they can't even get the ball up half the time. So DiVincenzo makes us smarter. He's just gonna make us a better basketball player. But like I'm saying, with Obi, it's the same thing. We lost Obi. People complaining about the fact that we lost Obi, but I mean, we could easily replace him. With somebody else in the league. There's a lot of talent in this league. All you have to do is pick the right player. Pick somebody with the same the same frame of mind that we've been picking. We've been picking family men, good IQ players, just people with good character. So just continue to do your homework and stuff like that, and just keep persevering. One thing I want to say about IQ is like 6'2". So every time we talk about him being a shooting guard, everybody always shoots it down. Being a starting shooting guard, but Donovan Mitchell is shorter than him. Shout out to Bradley Beal. All these guys are about the same height. But when we talk about IQ, I know IQ is not tall enough. He's not strong enough. This, that, and the other. But he's probably like one of the best defenders at his position at that height. He's a decent rebounder and stuff. So you know, if we wanted to save money, we can stick IQ in that shooting guard spot if we want to, you know. But I mean, you know, people are stuck in their ways. They like Grimes and they don't want to get past it. Oh, you got to develop this guy. We can't develop everybody, man. Everybody can't go to the end. So, you know, that's my real thought process on everybody.
I will say this real quick before I get to AJ. In Cleaning the Glass subscription required, they have a function where you can take players, you know, you have your starting five, and, you know, what's the team like when you take this person off and put this player on. And I did that with Robinson and iHeart. I did it with Grimes and IQ. And this is there's different categories, but I was looking at opponent field goal percentage. You know, what does the opponent shoot against these different lineups? And I'll tell you this. You put Grimes in these lineups, it was all blue. So any variation of blue is not that good. Any variation of yellow to orange is really good. You switch out Grimes and you put in IQ, it goes from blue to yellow really quick. And that doesn't necessarily mean that IQ is a better individual defender than Grimes. It could be, but the team performs better when IQ is in those lineups. And one of the lineups, now, some of the lineups, the sample size was huge, like the starting lineup, right? And some of the lineups, the sample sizes was only like 100 possessions, 136 possessions. There was a lineup with Brunson, RJ, and iHeart, and Randall. And the only difference was Grimes and IQ. IQ in that lineup, that and they, what they do is they break it down. How do the opposing team shoot at the rim, in the short mid-range, in the long mid-range, corner threes, non-corner threes, total threes, like, so they really break it down into how does the opposing team shoot in these categories when this particular team is on the floor. Any combination with IQ in there did better. And there was, and a lot of those was Brunson and IQ. So I didn't look at other stats, pick and roll defense and what have you, and maybe the team is not that good in those situations, but in opponent field goal percentage, even Brunson and RJ in the lineup, you put IQ in there, it made a difference. Even if Mitch wasn't in there and it was Hartenstein in there, quickly being in there made the difference. So I say all of that to support what Eva was saying, that I don't know if it's such a bad thing to have IQ in the starting lineup. Now, maybe he won't get the touches and be as effective as he can be when you're in that lineup with Julius Randle and Brunson. Maybe he won't have the freedom offensively. But defensively, we're definitely a better team. Let me let Jay Boogie in there, and then Ajay, you can go. Boogie, how are you?
What's up, Jay Boog?
I'm blessed. I hope everybody else is blessed too. Shout out to everybody on this beautiful, wonderful panel that the Queen is having. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. What up, DJ Shuttle? What up to my man Tony Crow, aka Stick 'em again. What up, Adji? What up, Eru? One of the hardest working men it is all across the land, man. Hope everybody good and having a great day. Y'all excuse me a little bit. When you hear me like this, that means a lot of work is being put in. So I got the older age Jada kids right now.
There you go. We was just, a lot of these topics was discussed already, but I was just doing a rapid fire because we haven't been on the Queen's Court and discussed it together. So right now we just giving our thoughts real quick on DiVincenzo and Obi Toppin, and then somehow we got on to IQ. But Ajay, your thoughts, and then we'll come to Jay Boogie.
Well, Queen, first of all, before I start, I'm gonna ask the chat to hit that like button because we're already lagging on that stuff, man. We got over 100 people and like not even 40 likes. So let's hit you two guys on the panel. Hit the like button because I don't think so. Listen, DiVincenzo is a very, very good to excellent player. He's really good. He's really good in terms of, like, he's got a little bit of everything. And he's a very good, one thing you guys didn't mention, he's a very good scorer. He's a very good shooter. Okay, his percentages not just from the three, but driving to the basket. He's really good, and he's a good defender. He could bring up the ball. Um, he's a well-rounded player. Like he doesn't do one thing like specific. Like he's not a Steph Curry, or he's not or even for his size, he's not a Josh Hart grabbing rebounds, but he'll get you like 4 or 5 rebounds, like if it comes around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's a well-rounded player. He's a pretty good addition to the team. It can't possibly hurt to have him on the team. Like I've said on Dope Soul, I just wish he was 6'7", but we all wish that like it would have been perfect. But
Right.
you can't have it all, right? In terms of Obi, Queen, you really want me to go there again?
Yeah, I want you to go. This is a new audience.
It's a new audience.
22,000 subscribers here.
Listen, I'm happy that Obi got traded, not because he's no longer a Knick, but because he's gonna have a chance to have a decent career in the NBA. Okay, I am pissed. Like Tony Crow mentioned, that we only got 2 crappy second round picks for him, and not good second round picks either. Like, those teams have second round picks, but they're the less valuable of the second round picks.
Right.
We like to think of our front office as shrewd and savvy and slick. We got fleeced on that one. Whether they wanted to do it, maybe they wanted to do it that way, right? But the end result is a fleece. Okay, that's what we got. That's what happened. Okay, and I don't care. I know they wanted to dump salary. They wanted to do this. Bottom line, first round, we got an 8th pick in the first round. He's not a terrible player. And what do you got for him? You pretty much got peanuts for him. I feel we could have done a lot better. And, that's really my problem with it. We're going to be fine. He's probably going to be fine over there. And I don't think a lot of people say, well, this was between, the team had to pick between Obi and Julius. I don't feel that way, but that's like a whole nother conversation. And we don't want to make this about this on this show tonight. But we could have gotten a lot more for Obi Toppins, in my opinion, than 2 bad second round picks. All right.
But why do you think we didn't?
Shuttle, you muted.
The trade. I'm sorry, Tom. The trade is for a guy that's played for 3 seasons, that's averaging 14 minutes a game. Like, you can't get more based on, quote unquote, all this potential when he's had like this much time in the league. He's had some flashes of showing that he got some ability, but I mean, like, it's not like when James Harden got dealt and he was the 6th man, and it was like, all right, clear, like, yo, that guy's gonna be amazing. He's put the work in. He looked like he needed to absolutely be a starter, no questions asked. But Obi wasn't like that.
I'll say this. The real value in it, which I failed to mention, was the fact that we didn't have to take any salary back, right? So
the trade exception, and the
trade exception. But the fact that you know what I mean, we got to create that space. You know what I mean? So maybe they valued the space, and the picks weren't really the deciding factors. You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't want to take a certain player back, or any salary back. So maybe the value was in there, which as a fan, you know what I mean, it's hard for us to recognize that because there's no you can't touch it, you can't see it.
Yeah, there's no bells and whistles. There's no bells and whistles looking at an exception.
No, Shuttle. I agree with you, and I understand what you're saying. That he barely played. He barely, again.
But in addition to that, what Tone was saying, that exception and that money being freed up to be able to acquire a player that you want now sooner versus who knows with a second round pick. Okay, yeah, so you get a higher second round pick. It's not going to be more valuable than this exception that they feel like, in their opinion, the front office is not going to be more valuable than the exception that they got up front now.
So you're saying that it wasn't apparent to other teams. He showed flashes, but it wasn't apparent to other teams that this guy is going to pop. There was still some
question marks.
Some questions about him, which is why
if that
teams.
was the case, people would have been banging on the door for a deal, and a better deal would have happened.
I think the consensus around the league though is he will be better with more opportunity. I think that is the consensus. But it's obvious a question mark because he didn't have the opportunity. But if they were asking for a player that they wanted, I think the Knicks would have more leverage in negotiating. You know what I mean? In the trade, the fact that they didn't want to take a player back, they got what they wanted essentially, and then the second round picks is kind of like the icing on the
Yeah,
cake.
that's bonus. Those picks
know
is
what I
a
mean?
bonus.
Right. So they basically got rid of him. They dumped him. Which but it gets into a whole other conversation, which again, this show tonight is probably not about that. In terms of, why did OB only play 14 minutes? And it gets into like a whole, almost like a rabbit hole of that. That's like a whole show by itself. So I really
Not
don't want to
really.
get
He
into
was playing behind an All NBA All Star player.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
why he only got 14 minutes, and he's not a small forward, and he's not a center. I mean, that's what it
Maybe,
is. And they
maybe
signed iHeart. Once they brought in iHeart, you already knew right then and there that this small ball lineup wasn't happening.
all right.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying. The other thing I just want to add with the second round picks that seems to be valuable. Boston got Sacramento sent 2 seconds for Duarte, and Boston only got 2 seconds in a 3-way trade. Now, Boston probably take what you can get because they weren't going to re-sign Grant Williams anyway, right? But all they got out of this deal was 2 second-round picks as well. And somebody mentioned that somebody else went for 5 second-round picks. I forget who that player was. So for whatever reason, second-round pick seems to be valuable.
the going rate. That's the going rate. The players you want to get rid of.
And they are more valuable. I mean, not more valuable, valuable in the sense that they're non-guaranteed contracts. So if you hit or you miss, you know what I mean, you're not obligated to pay those guys a certain amount of money. That contract is negotiable, and it's not normally a guaranteed contract either. So
Low risk, high ceilings.
Right. Boogie,
How are they high ceilings?
No, but when I say high ceiling, like it's a low risk. Like, okay, like this second round pick could potentially be somebody like Joker. So you I'm just saying, you saying, but this is what we're talking about.
Anything is possible.
No, it's possible. But you can't.
But see, that's exactly the point. It's low risk. You're giving a second round pick, like Tone just said. It's non-guaranteed.
I agree with low risk.
But it could potentially be something that's a super high ceiling, like a la Mitch Robinson. He was low,
super high, but I hear you.
Low risk in the second round, but relative to where you
just get back, Queen.
Subtle. I agree. I'm all in on the low risk, but the high ceiling, I don't know. Like I want to say probably 90% of second round picks don't amount to nothing. They all go play overseas. But I wouldn't say high ceiling. Low risk, yes, because obviously, you're not going to pay a lot of money. Those are going to be like $1 million, $2 million contracts that you can get rid of them whenever you want.
Absolutely,
definitely low risk. Yes.
Yeah. Or they turn into Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Joker.
Maybe. I'll let Jay Boogie go, but then since we're on the topic, we can come back to RJ Barrett potentially filling, Obi's shoes with those backup power forward minutes. And for those who came late, there was a mix-up in the thumbnail. The show is not about RJ Barrett coming off the bench. The show is about, part of the show is, quickly starting, at the shooting guard. And the other part of it is RJ Barrett playing the small ball 4, not coming off the bench. But we'll get to that. Boogie, your thoughts?
It's 32 teams in the league, ain't it?
30.
Am I right? It's 30?
Yes.
It's 30. All right, well, let's subtract 2 of them because I ain't going to talk about the Pacers and I ain't going to talk about the Knicks. So that means it's only 2018. Out of them 2018s, nobody felt like Obi was a number one. Nobody felt he was at least from 16 to the 30. Nobody. So if nobody felt like that, I don't understand why so many people are upset because we only got 2 picks for him. We got what we was able to get to eliminate a situation, to kill a buzz. You know what I'm saying? To move on from a situation that we shouldn't have never created. Everybody know that Obi wasn't the right pick. You know what I'm saying? Coming off Julius' bad season. But what happened was the next year, Julius turned around. He became the MIP, became All-Star, all NBA, everything, you know what I'm saying? So after that, it was pretty much over. So once I seen that happen during the off season, I'm gonna go to work. The 3 spot wide open. I ain't gonna put no work in. I ain't gonna try to get that. It's not a fact that he's not a 3 or 4 or 5. Bobo is not a 5 neither, but he can play the 3. He can play the 4 because he got wing skills. So where's Obi Toppin's skills besides flying on a fast break and catching a pass and dunking? Where's your facing the rim skills, putting the ball on the floor? None of that. He has none of that, and I'm shocked to see a New York person that don't have that. I never knew that a New York person would not have him. I never knew that. So with us moving on from Obi, we just killing the situation. To get real quick to Dante, I love Dante's game. He's a professional adult that comes from a great background that's gonna come inside our building. He come from a great background in high school. He come from a great background in college, playing up under a great coach, Jay Wright. He's a 2-time champion. He's over here in the NBA, and now when Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart decide to bring out the 2 rings, though, he can put them up. He go a 3rd ring. Y'all, I got something y'all ain't got. Put them up. I'm in the building now. This is what you need to get. This other ring that y'all don't have. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that more chemistry comes with this guy. God knows how to play basketball. He's a champion all the way around the board, and he comes from championship with Milwaukee Bucks, championship DNA, championship office, championship coaching staff, championship players that rubbed off of him. And it says a whole lot when the Golden State call you and they say they want you to come over here and play for our team. That's more championship DNA and everything that he don't gain and got for them guys. And Steph Curry just said, yo, we just got a good one. We know we got a good one, you know what I'm saying? And we happy for him. But now you got to present it and put it on the floor and show us that you want to be here. We stole him for this contract because I believe he's getting ready to break out. You get ready to see him do things, you know what I'm saying, that he's capable of doing. And so this contract for 3 years is going to fall in our favor, just like the Jalen Brunson contract. It fell in our favor. So I look for us to, you know what I'm saying, to do other things. And we're starting to get contracts where it's later on down the line when we sign that other big marquee player, the contracts we already have on the board is effect of getting away, with the collective bargain agreement and all that going on. So right now we're in good phases, but that's what I got on Dante. I love his game. He's over here with us, professional adult, no problems outside the world, no problem in the locker room. He can only lead. He's only going to put more pressure on Ron. Get it together quickly. Get it together. He's going to put more pressure on them, but at the same time, he's going to help and lead them and show them other things that they don't know as far as playing championship role basketball, playoff basketball, because those guys need to learn how to play that, and especially IQ. If he get that playoff basketball down pat, we got one with him. But yeah, that's what I got. Obi, wish you the best, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to learn. Sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for, because what you ask for might be the results that you want to happen. Because you get ready to go over there in a place over there where they just draft that young boy. Don't think you got a starting spot over there. You got to go over there, fight and battle. And I want you to work, but I don't want them calling something like the Knicks saying, see, I told you, you shouldn't have never traded. I don't want to hear that. So, I don't wish your career so much good, you know what I'm saying? But I wish the best for you.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's stay right here in terms of who's playing those 14 backup minutes. The Knicks, they signed, I forget his name.
Knight.
Yeah, they signed Knight. I'm not sure if the Knicks rotation is going past 9. Right? If you're going to play a 10-man rotation, that means every starter has a backup, and that's going to be limited minutes for whoever is backing up Brunson and whoever is backing up Julius Randall. There's just not enough minutes at those 2 spots. And if Quickly is the one backing up Brunson, now his minutes goes down are reduced significantly. So I don't really see the Knicks going to a 10-man rotation. That ensures that it quickly can get 28 to 30 minutes a game. That being said, are you comfortable with RJ Barrett, in addition to his starting small forward role for those who came in late? Are you okay with him also playing small ball power forward, taking those Obi minutes behind Julius Randle? You think he can do that?
I think it'll be a collective. So I think he'll see some of those minutes at times, but at times we might see Josh Hart there. At times we may see various different people there. So
might
but
be Sims.
Yeah, but I think he's capable, more than capable. It's really gonna be about how it looks, you know what I mean, with the stats produced when he gets the opportunity. What they're lacking. So does Josh Hart in that second unit make up for? I mean, I can't even say make up because Obi really wasn't a great rebounder.
Nope.
So, but I'm looking at it as make up for the rebounding when Julius Randle's off the court. Is RJ going to be able to get those big rebounds in a small lineup in that second unit? So I think those will be the key factors. But I definitely, we've seen him play the four in off the bench already. So I think it's a given. We'll see it again.
Yeah,
I'm curious about like the playing style because I mean we are small and we talking about small ball. RJ playing power forward, and then what you're gonna have Julius play center maybe, and then you're gonna have Josh Hart playing small forward, DiVincenzo. So we have that's a very small lineup. So in turn it's just gonna be a different look. We're gonna play a different style of basketball. So I'm worried about that. It's gonna be something that's so different that it messes us up. Like you mentioned, what's his name, Sims. Nobody talks about Sims. He had the shoulder, just like you, Shuttle. He got the shoulder thing going on. But I mean, he can very well come in and play backup power forward minutes and stuff like that. But it really depends on what happens in training camp, what Tom Thibodeau falls in love with, and whatever. And I'm just a little worried about the play style. It's probably going to be something that we're not used to seeing with these guys, just for the simple fact that everybody's so small.
But that could also be a blessing. I'm sorry, Queen. It doesn't have to be a detriment. You know what I mean? A new play style with the second unit may be just what we need. And just this
modern basketball, modern style of basketball.
And Sims may play backup 5 and Hartenstein move to the 4 and have some motion move through him as well. So I think there's a bunch of different options.
Yeah,
Tom Thibodeau is very hard with his lineup. The 9-man rotation, he's very hard with it. So it'll be interesting to see what he chooses, man. The training camp is going to be so important for us.
I mean, like I said, I don't like people are getting on Tom Thibodeau for the 9-man rotation. It has to be like that. You go to a 10-man rotation, now you're going to be complaining that IQ is only getting 18 minutes. Because you got IQ, you got Grimes, you got DiVincenzo. You didn't sign him just to sit him on the bench. So you go to a 10-man rotation, people are going to be crying. Somebody is not going to get minutes. Somebody's going to get 10, 11 minutes if you go to a 10-man rotation. And who is that? Is that Grimes? Is that DiVincenzo? Is that IQ? Like who's going to get, 10, 11, 12 minutes if you bring in Sims to play those backup power forward minutes? I think if you run RJ there, you open up more room for the guards to get more time because we got 1,000 of them.
Right.
Sims, Sims, Tony.
I think Eva got a great point though with the training camp because Tibbs is gonna go with what he likes from what he sees. You know what I mean? So for I'm just hypothetically,
Right.
If DiVincenzo beats out Grimes and Tibbs likes what he sees, and then IQ beats out Grimes, we may see Grimes pushed to the back burner. And I'm just using Grimes as an example, but as we know, it could be anybody almost. You know what I mean? Like the contract don't really matter. The relationship with Tibbs, I'm referring to Derrick Rose now. It doesn't matter. Like he's gonna at this point, he's going with what he likes and what he thinks is gonna win games. And to your point about the 9-man rotation, I think there's a direct correlation to the turnaround of our season to Tibbs going to that 9-man rotation. And so
the only thing I gotta say about that,
we'll go away from it.
The only thing I gotta say about that, Tone, is I think that the team was in such a disarray. Like he had to just draw a hard line in the sand with the 9 players. And I think that it can be 10 players. I just think that we just didn't have the right 5 backup players to be able to play. So as a result, no, Cam, you're gonna sit. Fournier, you know what? You're not of any benefit. You're gonna sit too. Rose, I love you, but you're not bringing anything to the table. So I just think it got cut to 9 because that is what last year called for, and it's not uncustomary that we see the 5 backup players play all at the same time. Come on, we've been watching basketball a long time. We've seen 5 backup players get in the lineup, and I could definitely see,
but not with Tibbs.
With Chicago, definitely,
But we've seen it here too, where he would go with at some point the entire starting lineup. He would take them out in
game 6 in the playoffs. He did it.
He would take them out at different, he would stagger it, but there would be a point where there was all,
I just think that the bench players of Quickly, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, iHeart, and
RJ Barrett,
and maybe RJ Barrett, but I'm saying maybe somebody else that comes in as a backup power forward, whether it's Sims or whatever. I just don't think it's like the 9-player thing. I just don't think that that's just a lock. I think that's to be determined.
But so you're okay because we're about to pay. If they extend Quickly, you're okay with them, and they're going to extend Josh Hart, playing Josh Hart. I don't know, 15 to 20 million, playing Quickly 20 million, and then only playing those guys 14, 15 minutes a game because
I don't care who gets paid what. What you get paid doesn't determine how much you play. And I would also, I know I'm throwing something crazy out there, but let's get Morris back from the Clippers. Let's trade Fournier. Let's figure out a way to make something happen and get Morris back as a backup power forward. I would love to see that. And now I would feel solidified with the 5 backup players.
I have one question about all that. Mm-hmm. So I think we could all agree that RJ Barrett didn't have a good season this past season, right?
Nope.
Okay, so and he's pretty much regressed every time he's been here. So if we're relying so much on RJ Barrett to play some minutes at the 4, if he has another one of those seasons, let's say he doesn't get worse. Let's say he plays the same way he played last season. We still comfortable with that? I mean, we giving that guy a lot of heavy minutes.
As you see, I'm trying not to give him the minutes.
Okay. but for now, he's the guy who's going to get the minutes.
Maybe,
because,
maybe they put DiVincenzo at the small forward, and with Grimes in there, and they're putting Josh Hart at the 4, and RJ's on the bench.
Yeah, like Ebro said, that's a tiny team, man. That's like
Josh Hart was playing the 4 last year.
Really?
Who you trust more at the backup 4 right now based on performance?
Listen, I hear you.
RJ or Hart?
If you have Josh Hart at the 4 and then now you have DiVincenzo at the 3, listen, man, the other teams are gonna be eating barbecue chicken, man. They have big guys, man. I mean, we're gonna be in trouble. I don't care how good defensively, how good these guys' lateral movement is. If you don't have the height, you don't have it. It's just.
But I will say a lot of the 4s are stretch 4s, though. It's not like there's a lot of power forwards that's going to take you down in the post. Not that they can't.
Well, no,
a lot of those 4s are stretch 4s.
They don't take you down because of who's defending them. If you putting them little guys on them, they're gonna be living down low.
And we're talking about second unit 4s in this case as well. So
right, I'm talking second unit power forwards. I think to me, RJ's a power forward anyway.
He's a power forward anyway. He's an old school
power forward.
If this was 93, he'd be playing power.
That's Leon Rose's fault, man. All that's Leon Rose's fault. Because you can't tell me you can't tell me you ain't got enough money to go get Michael Green.
Yo,
no,
I love Jamarcus Green.
Guys, come on. You can't have it both ways, right?
No, I'm just speaking my take. Because
Boog, listen.
Hold on. Reason why I say this because if you follow the notes of what's going on with RJ, we're destroying that man's game along with he not being able to elevate his game. The first year when we play, we get eliminated from Atlanta. When we get eliminated from Atlanta, during that off season, that comeback season supposed to have been to come out of RJ. But it wasn't. You know why? Because we got rid of the 3 and told him to bulk up and become something that he's not. We draft that man as a 2 guard, a small orientated type lead. This man was a 2. Now you tell him he's going from the 2 to the 3 to a backup 4. What are we doing? Why we do not have a backup and we got rid of one because the eliminate a problem? You're supposed to have somebody in that position. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to make somebody become something that they're not when they can't even play the position where they at. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Can I chime in on this? And I'll tell you why. And I've been hearing this. Queen's been drilling this in my head. Everybody. Jarrell, shout out to Jarrell. He's not here. And I listened to it. That Leon Rose is out there looking for Tibbs players. Okay. That's why he's not. If there's a backup 4 that becomes available, he's not bringing him in if he's not a Tibbs player. That limits our pool of players we can pick from. Okay, so it don't blame it on Leon Rose because he's checking with Tom Thibodeau. Tibbs, do you want this guy? No, he's not my kind of player. Okay.
But how you know that's the conversation that's going?
I don't know. That's what
I'm trying to say.
No, Queen. I'm saying y'all been drilling. I've been listening to it. I've been listening to all the shows. Tibbs players. So
well, I get that, but you're making something up that the reason why we don't have a backup power forward is because Leon Rose is asking Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau is saying no to all of these backup power forwards. I
think Green is a Tibbs player.
Yeah, I think he should have been our backup years ago. Green, instead of messing around with Obi at the backup, we should have been got Jamarcus Green.
If that's the case of what you're saying, we don't even bring, you know what I'm saying, Tibbs over here, you know what I'm saying, and pick his own staff. You know, Tibbs came over him and Leon picked his staff. So I don't believe in, you know, he picking and trying to pick with Tom they ain't come with nobody. He don't know nobody down there. That's why I always say we need somebody to we need coaches too. We don't know nobody. So you can't put that on.
He does now. He got to bring in a couple guys.
Yeah,
last year
he cleaned house.
Yeah, but not initially. I get what he's saying. Initially, he came in here butt naked, you know, with nobody around him.
He came in naked. He didn't bring Woody. He didn't bring Payne. Them guys got put over here just in case it didn't work out right. What happened was Woody got that check over there, and Payne went got a check too. And now we stuck with all these guys. Everybody think they need to replace Tom. You guys can get us to where Tom got us at.
Well, I want to add this too, because you know, we needed a shooting guard, we needed a point guard, and then you know we got screwed up by getting Kemba and Fournier. You know, so I mean, you know, this guy Leon Rose was trying to do right by the Knicks, trying to get something that he thought Tom Thibodeau needed, but then Tom Thibodeau said, you know what, bench this guy, destroy the entire season in the beginning. You know, and then damn, they almost did it again last year. You know what I'm saying, by benching Fournier and getting just going with that hard 9-man rotation. It worked out for us, but it didn't work out the year before. So you know, we're always in danger of, like, in the beginning of the season, if things don't go the way that Tom Thibodeau wants it to go, he could just put his foot down and be like, okay, guess what? 5 guys that you thought were playing are not playing, and the salary is going to be wasted on the bench, and now we're going to have another lost season just because Tom Thibodeau has a thought, or he has like a, you know, just a bone to pick just because of whatever he believes philosophical wise with the basketball, you know.
I mean, at this point though, we got to rock with him. Like he's got us to the playoffs.
We
2
all.
out
I
of
don't
3
think he made
years.
those decisions just willy-nilly. We were 10 and 13. We weren't playing, we weren't playing well. It wasn't just getting up one day and just having a thought and changing everything around. The Knicks were struggling, and Tom Thibodeau, I don't know if he was on the hot seat internally with the front office, but in terms of the fans, we got I think it's revisionist history now. But if you go back to that time, we were 10 and 13. What's going on? We should be better than this. People was calling for Fournier to be out of the rotation before he actually got out of the rotation. People forget that. Why are we playing Fournier? We got these young kids on the bench. Why we keep playing him? Now Fournier complains in an article. We did him wrong.
Reverse happens. Yeah.
Now we did him wrong. We should have played him. I mean, come on. We got to go back to that time.
And the worst I'm hearing right now is, if you would have played him, you could have had some value to trade him. And I'm like, what? Are y'all, you stupid or you dumb? He wasn't playing for a reason.
Right.
He wasn't playing for a reason. And that's sidebar why your coach can't win. They tell him play the kids.
You gotta give him the credit.
Yo, you gotta give the coach the credit. Yo, you said play the kids. He played the kids. You said he played the kids. Now Fournier, he has no value. He's upset. Now you want to, give him a blanket to cry with. It's like you can't have it. You can't have it always.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I will say, I would have liked to have seen Fournier be a little more situational. I just thought there were some games in which we could have used them, and definitely in the Miami game, once quickly went down, and Grimes, wasn't shooting, as well as he shot in the regular season. I thought that was a good time to give Fournier some minutes and see what to see what he can do.
Nah, Steph. You heard what Fournier said. You heard what Fournier said. My head wasn't even in the game. Once I was not being in the rotation, instead of having a mind state where I'm practicing and preparing every game like I'm going to play and I'm going to start, I'm going to get a lot of minutes, he was mentally checked out. And in fact, there was one time he said when RJ got hurt, and I think they wanted him to be in the game, he was in the back. He wasn't even ready. So those kind of things, the coaches have already made a decision of who you are and what you are and why we're not going to use you. Mm-hmm. So because of those things that already happened and occurred, he proved himself to be the man who he was. And you got to believe people when they show you who they are. And the coach believed him when he didn't prepare himself to be ready when RJ got hurt and they did need him. So you know what? You're not ready then. So don't bother being ready later. It's all good.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that part. That
was in the interview. The rant. It was basically like a big rant that he had, and he was just out saying,
he's like, yo, I was so pissed off. There was a time I was in the locker room. RJ got hurt. Then I needed to be ready, and I wasn't ready. I got in the game, and I played awful. So you know what that means? I can't depend on you. And that's the thing with Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, that's why I respect Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride is a player you don't have to worry about like that kind of foolishness about. He practices, he prepares, he's ready, and he might not play for 7 games in a row. But when he get in that game that one time, it looked like he'd been playing every single day. And Fournier didn't have that kind of mind state. He got comfortable. He played a certain type of minutes, a certain type of consistency throughout his career, and he was not accustomed to that. So he didn't know how to handle it, and he wasn't professional. So you know what? You got what you got, and that's why I'm not sorry for him. We can't deal him. You can sit home all season like they did John Wall. It's all good.
Well, that's a good point. That part, I didn't read the article. I just read the snippets that was, in the Post, and that part about him not being ready when RJ got hurt. I didn't hear that part, and I think you're right. As a coach, you see all of that. You see the guys throughout the season who you can trust in those tough moments. And if that was the case, I can see in a playoff situation a coach saying, nah, I'm not going to.
But, Steph, you see how we all talking, we're giving our points and stuff like that. Do they not do that? Do they not have like meetings where Fournier would tell the coach something, or the coach would just tell it? Because throughout history, since we've been following basketball, like you hear the stories, guys literally don't have conversations. They said that Hornacek used to be after practice, used to be in an Uber, right? Like 10 minutes after practice, he was in an Uber going home already. You know what I'm saying? There was no office hours, there was no communication and stuff like that. So I don't understand how you could be at this professional level and don't have basic conversations where guys have no clue what's going on at any given time. You know, like if you're not playing, there should be a dialogue where like, well, you know, an understanding. But a lot of these players just they don't have that. You know,
I mean, he did tell him he was going to be out of the rotation. He was going to be out of the starting lineup, and he's going to.
He told us that. I think he told us and him at the same time in the press conference.
And
no, he said that he told. No, he said he told him.
Yeah, Fournier said he told him.
He told him he was going to be out of the.
like, listen, if you, I'm not your girlfriend, bro. I'm not your husband. I'm not checking in with you every couple of days, telling you what's going on. You out the rotation.
They should.
I told you what's going on. You out the rotation. Stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. You're a professional. You're a professional. You're not one of these young players in the league. You got 8-9 years experience. You're 28, 29 years old. Do I need to babysit you to tell you to be ready? Be ready.
Here's the thing. I agree with Shuttle when it comes to Fournier, 100%, because he's a pro and he's been in the league well long enough to know that, right? And he checked out. Even the game he played well and kind of won for us. They asked him, "Oh, do you think this means you back in the rotation?" And he was like, "No, like this was a one-off." You know what I mean? Like, not saying he was wrong because I respect Fournier for that. He always kept it 100. He always said what he felt. You know what I mean? Like he never, I think, until the offseason, he wasn't blatantly disgruntled or disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like he respected the profession. But after the fact, I don't rock with none of that. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's all. Now you being political. You know what I mean? Now you trying to, like Shuttle said, if we can't move you, don't even come. You know what I mean? Like we'll move you. We'll move you when we can, if we can, and if not, you expire at the end of the year.
Word.
You don't even want it to come to a situation where you want to tell the player, "Yo, don't come." Not in the New York Knicks organization. The smartest thing and the best thing to do is not to bring them back in that uniform again. Move them on. Don't allow them to come back because you know the media gonna we the number one. Either get a raise for your job for the media, or get a bonus for your job when it comes to talking about us. You know,
but Jay Boogie, what's worse? Bringing him back because you can't move him, and having him be with the team, and just becoming a distraction, and potentially wanting to be interviewed night in and night out and all that, or just having him out of sight, out of mind. Now they can't ask him anything. I agree with you. The most important thing is to move him, but it takes two teams.
Yeah, but it's no such thing as you can't move him. How you can't move? I just seen this man back-to-back years get off John Wall's contract, my own boy. The next year
you got to incentivize it. Now you got to
the next year
to move him.
Huh?
So you saying by all means move him. If you got to include a pick to move him, do it.
You got to move him.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Second round or first round?
I mean, whatever it takes, he said.
Now I'm not going to give up a first round, but
wait.
I'm not saying
we just we just said first rounds aren't. Second rounds are more valuable. Now we giving away first round. We don't want to give away first round. First rounds aren't valuable. Which one is it?
I'm not saying give up a first round. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is right now in today's time, far as the NBA, money is more valuable than picks. That's 20 mil that's coming off the books. Somebody would take that and give us something if you shop and do it right. But I'm just saying, just bringing him back, just to bring him back, and we got this situation going on. Nah, I'd rather just move him, even if it might not be something I want to move him for. But I gotta think about
take a bad contract.
I'm not saying take a bad contract. I'm saying you can move him for second round draft picks. You can get him up out of here. There's ways you can do it. They just have to do it and stop looking for a trade scenario for him to go in to get a big player when it's causing confusion amongst the team.
I don't
Get
think
rid
that's
of the
all they're looking for, though. I think they will absolutely do a parallel move that is a equal value expiring contract. I think they'll do that in a heartbeat. The question, the problem, I think, is people want to be incentivized to take on Fournier, and now that becomes the question. If you're going after a player that you was already going, I said this a couple weeks ago. If you're going for OG, right, and you doing that, and now you put in the draft picks, then it kind of equals out because you would have to give up draft picks for OG anyway, and you know what I mean. So now it's not so bad if you including assets for Fournier. But when you're talking about other equal value or perceived not equal value, you're gonna have to incentivize the other team.
Well, 18
And I'll
million is
say
18
this:
million too, man. That's a big chunk of change.
having him, if that's the case, Boogie, I would just have him just not report because you still have that 18 million in a trade. That's valuable money. If you come across a trade that you like and you traded 48 for, I don't even know how you can trade him for 2 second-round picks because the salaries have to match. You know, you want to have that. You want to have that salary there to put in a trade for a guy.
Let me ask: if we buy him out, we still responsible for his salary? How does that work with the buyouts? That's still
I mean, you could agree to a $10 million buyout and you pay him $10 million.
But does he come off the books though?
No, the money is still on the books.
Right.
It's not worth it then.
It's not worth that, and that's what I'm saying, Boogie. Look, stay home means stay home. You're not getting no interviews. We already got the team. You wasn't playing last year anyway. If you ain't around for people to talk to you, it's no distraction because you ain't here. You ain't here. You ain't around. We got Dougie McBuckets at San Antonio. He's like 14 million. Make something happen.
I mean, I will say this. I do agree with Boogie in the sense that I would prefer he not come to training camp. I just think now after that big argument, I think it's going to, I mean, I don't want to say it's going to be a distraction because we do have mature players on the team. I think that they would work it out, but I'd rather not deal with it. And you can argue that might be one of the reasons they hightailed Obi Toppin out because it got out about him and Tibbs, and they just didn't want to deal with it for another season.
Yeah, he's more of a fan favorite. That's going to induce a lot more friction and bad cachet in the media and the fans and so forth. But Fournier can stay home. I mean, you might find 1 out of 10 fans that's going to be upset about that. Like,
and we're not saying don't try to move him. We're saying if it comes down to we can't find the proper value or return, or we are not taking on a bad contract multiple years because he has 1 year. We're not going that far. If that's the case, don't show up. Stay home. We'll probably be able to move you closer to the trade deadline, even with you not playing. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Can we back up a little bit, Queen? You said that's the thing with Obi. You think they got rid of him because the thing with him and Tibbs got out?
I'm wondering if that was a factor, and if that was, I can see how they wouldn't want to bring Fournier.
I hope that wasn't, because if that wasn't, that means it really wasn't the team. So if that thing didn't get out, maybe Obi would have still been here.
No, I think they just did him a solid. Everybody kept talking about Indiana, trading with Indiana because they have a better opportunity there, and it just so happens he gets traded to Indiana. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Knicks just did him a solid. You know, we take back the what do you call it, trade exemption, 2nd round draft picks, whatever, and then Obi Toppin gets the good karma staying over there in Indiana where he can get a better opportunity. I think with Fournier, they might be trying to do the same thing. They might be trying to get him in a good spot that's it's just a good vibe rather than stay your ass home. You know, that's kind of, that's not really like a good vibe. You know, if they could find a good spot for him, cool. But I think I agree with you guys. You know, if it comes down to it, if they can't find a home for him, then then staying home is probably the best thing. But not stay your ass home. You know, it's like more like just like, listen, just stay away from the team until we can figure it out. But I think they're gonna really try their best to get him in the spot.
No, but he kind of
thing is perfect.
He's kind of wild in the media though, so it's like at least like just as a comparison, Spider getting traded last year, he wasn't like he didn't go like, yo, y'all gotta trade me, it's like it's a way you gotta finesse it, you know what I'm saying? And right now Fournier is having zero finesse. Yo, you was quiet during the season. I respect you for
that.
Did
a great job during the regular season.
So and I salute you for the regular season, but like, yo, don't get to the 10-5-yard line now, fumble it when we could hopefully potentially do something that's going to be helpful, beneficial to both sides. Right now, he's making it more difficult for him to be traded.
Well, he was talking to like somebody in Europe too. It wasn't like an American outlet. It was like some kind of European thing. So the way they talk to each other over there, especially like paparazzi and stuff, they kind of like smoking cigarettes and drinking wine while they're talking to each other. So it's more of a loose conversation. So that doesn't translate well over here.
Guys,
it was loose, right?
I want to say something real quick, and so you guys, you hear what you're asking this man, right? He's 30 years old in his prime, and you're telling him to stay home because he has another contract left in him. So you're basically telling him to give up. That other contract right now is almost worthless.
John Wall stayed home.
He's not going to play.
John Wall stayed home.
John Wall stayed home. He's not going to play. The same thing.
Shut up. He's not John Wall. John Wall was making $40 million when he sat down, right? If he didn't get another contract, he all right. Evan Fournier is making. Evan Fournier got in. John Wall was he was hurt. He was coming off an injury and all that stuff. Evan Fournier is coming off a record-breaking three-point shooting season. Okay, he has the ability or the possibility to have another very good contract in the NBA at 29, 30 years old.
Which is why you don't burn the bridge of the team that you want to be moved from.
But Tony, if you sit him down, how he gonna get that contract though?
That's on him. That's his problem.
How?
He could have.
No,
if he wasn't so loud, it might have made it easier to trade him right now.
Let me. I want to talk about that Obi comment you made, Queen, because I think there is validity to that. If the front office hears about the what's going on in Knicks media world and they like, oh, it's out. Let's say the thing is true, and that was Obi saying what he said about Tibbs. Absolutely, get rid of him now. That would be a more reason why the return doesn't have to be at its peak. You know what I mean? We get rid of him. You absorb the contract. We'll take whatever. All right, 2 seconds. The bottom of the second round. I don't care. Do it now because we don't want to have to come back into a fresh season off of one of the best years we had in how long and have to talk about, oh, is Obi and Tibbs on the same page? That's what I'm talking about. So
same thing. Is Fournier and Tibbs on this? Is he going to play? He's got a fair shot
with a bigger contract with a guy who we know when he does speak, he doesn't hold his tongue. Like I said, it's one of the things I respect about him, but it's also dangerous in this city for this team with this media. They'll have a field day.
Right.
That's why I'm saying trade the guy, man. Just don't bring him back.
Yeah, we're not disputing that though. We're not disagreeing.
You might not be able to though.
Okay, but let me finish what I'm saying. The greatest thing I heard today, I heard something from Kendrick Perkins today. Kendrick Perkins said on TV, players are looking to go to the New York Knicks organization and play now. The office is right, the coaching staff and the ball players, they're young and everything. He said that on TV today. A guy like this guy right here, the players around the league, they stick together. They men's. They like, that's a brotherhood. You don't want this guy to hinder anything that we've been. How long has it took for us to build even what Kendrick Perkins said today? How long have they been saying that the organization ain't nothing? You don't want to go there. They sloppy. They terrible. They don't care about their players. Blah, 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 this and that. They've been saying that for years and years and years and years. But now we get to the point where the office seems like it's settled. We winning games. We in the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years. We making small moves. We got draft picks. and something small like this come about, you want to get rid of that point blank. Whether you got to trade him and take a loss, you got to get rid of him. Or if you tell him to stay home, that's even worse. That's even worse. But either way, it still look bad. But I'd rather just go ahead and get rid of this dude. Don't come back. Don't put Ray Williams' jersey on no more. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? But you're showing that you do not belong here because it takes you to go somewhere else out of the country where there's only a few NBA teams to be known for you to think you can slick talk us, then you don't apparently want to be here. So we need to help the situation and not bring you back here and not have you causing no more problems. Let you cause your problems and be free to go. It ain't work out. We sorry. But y'all want to keep him here or whatever they want to do. I don't know. But I know Evan Fournier is a bad situation.
We agree with you, Jay. We agree with you. The problem is he's even lowering the value of him in a trade at this point because you think other teams don't know. You think Fournier by his comment
by talking.
You think other teams don't know? All right, they got it. They don't want to go into the. You know what I mean? They don't want to go into that debacle. We don't have to offer anything of value. You know what I mean? We don't have to take back anything we don't want to. Like that's my problem with the situation.
Here's the thing too. It's not
100%.
It's not a mystery that Fournier's value is messed up. So by him saying the obvious, it's not like he did it himself. Like the situation, everybody sees the situation. He's not going to play. But what he said wasn't like a surprise.
I'm referring to leverage more so than value.
But there's no leverage because you're not gonna like trick everybody. Oh, don't say nothing, Fournier, because like nobody's gonna notice you're not playing. You know.
No, but I'm just saying.
You know that you have to move this guy. That to me, if I'm the other team, that's a negotiation tactic. I'm you taking what I want to give you.
Because I know you got to get off this contract.
Because I know you got to move him. You don't want to go into.
But regardless if he says anything, they still got to move him.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think we are overblowing the whole other players are watching what's going on? And now, yes, other players are watching it. I know they are watching it and they having feelings about it. But to the point where they're going to make a decision not to come to that organization. And the reason I say that is we had a similar situation with Kemba. We rebounded. Why wouldn't we be able to rebound from a Fournier when in this particular situation, Fournier sat so that we can give younger players more time. Fournier sat because he was shooting in the low 30s and we were 10 and 13. There was a legitimate basketball reason why Fournier was out of the starting lineup and out of the rotation. And going to a 9-man rotation allows you to give Quickly some more minutes because Quickly was coming into his own. So all of these basketball players that's watching Fournier sit, they don't see the whole story in terms of why he sat. And even if they have thoughts and feelings of it, they're going to turn down a contract. They're going to turn down, whatever, because Fournier was taken out of the rotation. Like
I doubt it. And Steph, I would even go a step further to say, while there is more European players than ever in the NBA, I think there's definitely a differentiation between the American NBA players versus the European NBA players. And, and he's not in the American NBA network like that. He's, in the other smaller group. And I don't think that like the impact of he's not being treated so terrible that the rest of the players that bond together are thinking, oh God, look how they're treating that French guy. We can't go to the Knicks. In addition to the basketball reasons that you just mentioned as well.
But that's the same thing I'm saying is it's not a surprise. They can see, everybody can see what's happening in an organization. It's like the same that we're talking about it. People, I'm quite sure they talk about it because now we see all these NBA players with podcasts too, and you see them talking about the same stuff that we're talking about. So it's not like a surprise that they know that Fournier is not playing. It's kind of messed up. But then they'll start talking like how we're talking. Look at Fournier. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. So there's a reason why he's not playing. I get it. It's messed up. He's in his prime, but. It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. Everybody talks about this stuff.
Right. I have one question before I read the super chats. I heard it on Twitter. I heard it in the chat as well that Tom Thibodeau the Knicks organization, but mostly Tom Thibodeau, tanked Fournier's value. Are you guys okay with Fournier playing more and Grimes and IQ playing less, or are you guys okay with how it played out? Like, if you had to go back and do it over again, would you have kept Fournier in the rotation and, limited Grimes and or IQ's minutes, or would you have played it out the same way?
I'm not mad.
Whenever Fournier sat on that bench for that long period of time and he came back and gave us 17 points in that Philadelphia Sixers game at the crib, right then and there, I would have kept him getting some exercise because the playoffs was coming, just in case I might need him. Because he's a veteran, he can shoot, he know how to play in big time situations. That point right there, he showed that, he could come in and do something. I'd have kept him playoff ready, give a couple minutes here and there, especially on blowout moments. It was times we was up 12, 14 points, 2-3 minutes left in the game. You could have gave him that time. Just to make sure he got his legs up under him. That's the same thing that the Miami Heat did with Brunson. They gave him that time, knowing they didn't need him all year long. He was trash. But when it got to the playoffs, they know they needed a shooter. And they brought him out there on that floor. And he crushed us. He crushed us. They ain't seen nothing all year. He crushed us, knocked us down. If he won't pulling up jumpers from deep, he was beating you up the dribble, cutting, going back door, doing some of everything. That's what Duncan did. Mr. Donut. It was averaging zeros for the whole season. You could have done something with that, man, on far as playoff. You can't tell me, especially when IQ went down, you can't tell me that you couldn't at least tried them or done anything. So, when you did that, that really let me know that, it was really done for him. But I wanted to know, was it personal now? Is it a personal situation? Or because you was beyond making a basketball decision, especially when we ain't got nobody everybody was shooting the ball at an Oreo cookie. Everybody. We got nobody to shoot. You couldn't try this dude or nothing. So that let you know it was personal, man.
I disagree 100%. I think we just talked about it, and I think we didn't see it, but I think the Tibbs at the very least, he's seen who he was during the regular season. He saw who he was when he got that opportunity after Philly, and he was talking about, nah, that don't mean nothing. I'm still gonna be on the bench. He that energy, that you can see that, you can feel that, and then his comments after the season is just further proof of who he is. So I think he checked out. He didn't want 4 minutes at the end of the game or 5 minutes at the end of a blowout. He didn't want that. So he was checked out already. So at this point, this is what I'm saying. We agree with you. It's time for him to go. I just feel like I would have rolled with him if he was quiet. You know what I mean? If he ain't come out with these comments, I would have had a defense. But he said it himself. Like Ebro said earlier, he said he wasn't prepared to play when RJ went down. Whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it was, he was checked out already.
Yo, he said
can't check out in the regular season and then give him an opportunity in the playoffs.
I don't care
no. I don't care if we 0 for whatever.
Absolutely not. And that's the difference with a guy like Duncan Robinson, and you gotta salute him because not only did he come and perform, but it was stated how much and how well he practiced day after day after day, even when he was getting 0 minutes. He said he stayed in the game, he worked out, he took care of his conditioning, he did all the shots he needed to take. And Fournier even said, it's like, yo, normally I got a disciplined schedule. I don't do so and such with the wife and the kid. He said, but yo, when I started playing and I wasn't really getting the run, I just started just hanging out. I'm going here, I'm going there with the family. I'm doing all kind of stuff, not keeping my tight regimen, like I'm checking in mentally, like I'm going to be locked in, loaded, ready to play. So your coaches see that. Boy. And so if I see that you ain't ready to play, I don't care if it's the playoffs. I'm not.
You know who else sees that? Your teammates see that.
Maybe
and the teammates see that. You already been proven. And low key, Fournier is mad petty.
Fournier is sarcastic. He's a weirdo European guy. Those guys always got sarcastic stuff to say.
He's low key super petty, and like that energy. Nah, I mean, that's why he got to leave now. So imagine if he got to leave now. Imagine how bad it was during the season.
Well, maybe we're not comparing apples to apples, right? We don't know the relationship between Spoelstra and Duncan Robinson. We don't know that Spoelstra didn't tell him, "Listen, stay ready. We're gonna put you in the game. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that." As opposed to Tom Thibodeau telling Fournier, "We're taking you out the rotation."
So you're saying that a 29-year-old
tell you nothing. This ain't college.
And we've heard Tibbs on post conference after post conference praising Deuce McBride for being ready, not knowing when he's gonna play, but being ready for playing in the G League and then coming up and playing in the.
You know what that is, Tone? That's what we call message. That's what we call message.
The one thing with Miami that I gotta say is that they require every single player on that roster to be a certain body fat percentage. You know what I'm saying? So they communicate with the first person on the roster all the way down to the last person on the roster. Everybody has the message in them that if you don't play, if you're not part of the situation, you could play at another point because they want you to be in peak condition. If you're not in condition, they have you running up and down steps and stuff like that till you get into that condition. So they prepare every single player for them to be ready to play at any given time. You know, and they communicate with them and say, listen, we might need you here, so be prepared. You know, but a guy like Fournier, he's trying to stay that. Listen, Tom Thibodeau didn't tell me nothing. I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting over here in the blue jersey in the practice. I'm not even with the rest of the dudes. These guys are not talking to me at all. He was saying that also in that little interview. They weren't even communicating to him on a small level. So that's no good either, man. That's the difference between the two.
What other communication do you need? If the coach says we're going in a different direction, takes you out of the starting lineup, then the coach says I'm taking you out of the rotation. What do you need? You got to have a biscuit breakfast every 2 weeks for him to say the same thing? You are out of the rotation.
Right. He's out of the rotation, but they didn't explain to him and say, listen, we're going to need you at a certain point. There got to be some kind of communication.
But you're saying two different things. If you tell you out the rotation, then you tell me out of the rotation, but then you want him to stay ready. Which is
absolutely.
Are you a professional or not?
You getting paid $18 million. You are out of the rotation. Damn right you're supposed to stay ready. Come on, you're not 16 years old. You are a professional basketball player. Come on.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Why do we got to tell you to stay ready?
I get that they're professional basketball players, but at the same time, what I don't understand is that why is it like you can't communicate to another man? Like one man is afraid to talk to another guy. You know, so like being in shape and play basketball is one thing, but like if you're out the rotation, okay, fine, but you shouldn't be isolated where there's no communication, where you're not even doing anything with the regular team. And then you say, oh, but you like it's not high school. You're a grown man. Is that I get all that too. But at the same time, Tom Thibodeau's a grown man too. You know, he should be able to talk to another grown man and let him know, listen, this is what's happening. It's messed up, but there's going to come a time here in the schedule where we might need you. But there was no communication. You know,
I hear you.
There has to be a communication because I mean, if you're afraid to talk to another guy to tell him, listen, your job is you're afraid to tell him something, you know, that to me that's a problem. That's even worse than
once he told them at that point it's on Fournier. It's on Fournier to go back to coach if you need some more explanation or you need like whatever it is you need, you got to express that. That's not on the coach to mind read that you not right with what I already told you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the disconnect is that. Once he's told that, what was the coach supposed to do more?
He's supposed to give a weekly check-in to the players or something. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. But why not? Why not? Listen, we do podcasts, right? We do a weekly check-in with the audience, right? And we talk basketball. Do a weekly check-in talking the same junk that everybody else is talking, right? Weekly check-ins, that's what we do. So how come a professional basketball club can have a weekly check-in with their players? So only certain guys, I'm not talking to you. Like you're a professional, you're supposed to be ready. I'm not going to say nothing to you. What kind of nonsense is that? To me, that's nonsense.
Every coach does that.
He's also a veteran.
Every coach doesn't do that because we just said Spoelstra doesn't do that.
You cannot tell me that coaches are having weekly meetings with every player that's out of the rotation, telling them to stay ready. Come on.
Listen, here goes the room. Here goes the room. There's 15 players on the roster. You mean to tell me that there's only 9 players talking and then the other guys are just sitting in the other room? Go sit with the little kids in the other room while the big boys are in here talking.
You want him to have a meeting with Fournier every
there's 15 guys in a room, basketball room. They all should be having a conversation with each other.
I don't know if that's not what happened.
He's telling everybody to stay ready.
I don't think he secluded the rotational guys from the bench guys from the starters.
But according to what Fournier said, that's what they was doing. Like Rose and Fournier didn't know what was going on.
No.
I think that's how they felt.
That's how they felt.
But Steph, you said you didn't even read the article, so you can't say no. You said you didn't read the article.
I read that part of the article though, when they were in practice and they weren't part of the scrimmaging.
Right.
Okay. So if you're not in the rotation, some guys are going to get more time in the scrimmage than somebody who's out of the rotation. Practice time is limited. You're not in the rotation. So you're supposed to be practicing and getting as much time as the guys who are in the rotation?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about communication. I didn't say nothing about time on the court. I'm talking about communication. You guys are saying that Tom Thibodeau doesn't even deserve to have a conversation with anybody.
In the article, he did say
I'm not saying special conversation. I'm just talking about.
He did say in the article, they asked him, well, what is your relationship with Thibodeau? Like he said, well, I don't have none. We don't talk.
That's what I'm saying. They don't even talk. And that's what he said that in the article. How do you have 15 guys on the roster and you're only talking to 9 guys? And the rest of the guys, I don't talk to those guys.
But did he say Thibodeau don't talk to me?
Yeah, he said that in the article.
I say good morning, and he just walks by and says hello to the starters in the second unit. Like,
we're not talking about good morning.
We're not talking about general. Hey, what's up, man? Good morning. We're not talking about that. We're talking about coming together as a team, having a conversation to try to win in during the season.
You think
talking about good morning? You think did you wash your hands after you took a piss just now? You
think if he has a team meeting, he doesn't have the situational guys. Is like, oh shoot, I didn't even know y'all had a meeting. Y'all had a meeting? Where y'all coming from? Oh, Tibbs just called us into the meeting. It was starters and second unit only. It was top 9 only.
That's what they were saying.
Oh my God.
Okay, you saying, oh my God, but he literally said that he didn't have no relationship with Tom Thibodeau. So I don't.
I'm one of the people who think
the coach having a relationship with Tom Thibodeau is not the same as not being in the team meetings. 2 separate things.
Queen, I'm one of the people who think part of a coach's job is player management. Player management, personality management, and all that stuff.
To basketball, you're talking about one thing, but now you're talking about something personal.
No, you're saying that they don't have a relationship. Okay.
Well, I'm not talking about them going to the movies or going on a date. I'm talking about them talking about basketball, working on the job, working.
I understand that. Listen. I don't see why we need to have a conversation to say the same thing over and over again. You're out of the rotation. Stay ready. I don't understand why I got to keep. Tom Thibodeau says in the press conferences, everybody needs to stay ready. I'm sure when he's talking to the team in the team meeting, everybody needs to stay ready. Whenever RJ didn't play, Fournier was his backup. Whenever RJ didn't play, Fournier was in that rotation. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't understand why the coach has to keep saying the same thing over and over. That's all I'm saying. I'm pretty sure in the team meetings, stay ready. I just don't get why you got to pull a player aside throughout the season.
I never said that either. I never said pull anybody aside or have like a coffee. Hey man, come to my office. Let's talk about.
So if he's not pulling them aside, how else is he communicating? Unless he's communicating in a group.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like in a group setting, guys should know what's going on. They should have an idea what's happening on as a team.
I don't believe Fournier.
I think he was being facetious.
I'm gonna just say that. I don't. He's not. He doesn't. He's not coming off as very believable. Like it's almost like he's having a pity party. It's like he's having a pity party.
I think somebody from his side of the world put a microphone in his hand and he had a candid conversation. I think that's what happened.
And to your point, to your credit, Eru, I think part of it is Tibbs. That's who Tibbs is. Some coaches will do that. Pull you to the side 2 weeks after you out of the rotation, make sure everything is
up to good. I know you're out of the rotation.
Some coaches will do that, and there's nothing wrong with a coach that does that. But to say that is like
I'm not talking about pulling to the side. I'm talking about like we all together, and I'm gonna say it in front of everybody. Hey, Fournier, listen, man. I know everything is messed up, but listen, man, stay locked in. We need you. You gotta say it. You have to have those conversations.
It's part of a coach's
But that's
job.
what I'm saying. That's not
job.
Tibbs. That was the same complaint that
Cam
Reddish had. Same exact complaint. He didn't know what he needed to do to get back into the rotation. The thing with Tibbs is once you out, you kind of out until we need you. Be ready when we need you. That's the only thing he could tell you. Be ready when we need you.
That's a sign of a bad coach too, man. If the coach can't communicate with the players and let them know what they need to do, then that's a problem. You know, of course the players they have to be responsible for their own careers. And because I'm a big advocate of that. That's why I don't care that Obi Toppin left. I don't, there's quite a few players that I don't like on this team. But the players are in charge of their own careers. But at the same time, the coach still needs to communicate what these roles of these players are.
But how is it that somebody like Deuce McBride, a whole lot less heralded, second round pick, way out of the rotation, back and forth from the G League, how is it that he's years younger, years less experienced, and he's got it figured out what he needs to do?
I can tell you why. Because he plays.
I know
like
why.
His career is on the line, and Tibbs wants everybody, whether you're a starter, whether you're a first round pick, he wants you to play like your career is on the line. He wants you to put maximum effort in daily routine, practice, workouts, the game, everything. It is no. Once he sees a slither of lackadaisicalness or just not giving your full effort. You in the back of the bus at that point.
And Fournier looked like he got comfortable. He looked like he got comfortable. Yo, you comfortable, fam? Like I don't like.
And he sounded a bit entitled too.
It's comfortable and entitled, and you like if a person is going the extra mile versus somebody who's not going the extra mile, who are you going to do more for? Who are you going to maybe have those extra conversations with? The person that's doing more and trying harder. Yo, a guy that's carrying on the way Fournier is carrying on. It's like, yo, you know what? Yo, if he don't get ready and be ready on his own, I don't care because look at his attitude. But Deuce, this guy's working hard. I might spend some time talking to him quietly when nobody's around to see it. Doing exactly what you're talking about, you.
Remember, we would hear Thibodeau talk about Deuce before Deuce was even getting minutes. Before he was getting and Sims talking about their work ethic, what they do in practice. Like he's bigging them up, and we hadn't even sniffed get a whiff of what they're capable of. We hadn't even seen him on the court yet. He was doing that for months. Their rookie year.
Yeah,
I don't understand why y'all have to explain that. I'm just talking about the Fournier situation. That's all.
Well, no, but the point is that with Fournier, that he's not working hard. So because he's not working hard and putting the effort and staying ready, which is why the coach is not feeling overly obliged to need to explain to him what his situation is or why he's not even getting minutes. And guys like Deuce, Sims, these guys are putting the effort in, so they're probably getting a little bit of that communication you're talking about.
And I think what Eru's saying, Shuttles, that's a sign of poor management. Player management, you got to be able to talk to the guy. Why can't a grown man talk to another grown man and say, listen, you need to stay ready. You're not in a rotation right now, but there might be a time when we need you. Okay? Because they're not even with the practice squad. Okay? So, and I think what Eru's saying is you got to be able to sit with the guy and talk. Or Derrick Rose. Say, listen, you're part of the team. You're still part of the family. You're still part of the team. Well, that's all.
Well, listen, I work with. I didn't mean to cut you off, man, but I work with grown men all day long. And it's never the same group, So no matter who's in the group, I don't care who you are. If you're not doing your job, then I'm gonna say something to you, and I'm gonna say it in front of everybody. I'm not gonna just pull them to the side or tell my man, tell him something, or wait for the supervisor to come and let the supervisor tell him. I'm gonna say it in front of everybody. So I don't care what happens next because I'm a grown ass man. I'm gonna say what I want, what I'm gonna say when it's time to say it. I just don't understand why these basketball players and in this culture of basketball that they don't have to play by those rules.
Yeah, I just think it's probably a generational thing. You know, it's probably just a style thing. Tibbs is a lot older. You know, he comes from a hard line of, of communication. You know, and everybody's culture and family is in coaching experience is different. You know,
and I think he's adjusting to the new league where you can't say certain things to certain players in certain environments. Like it's more of a players league where, you know what I mean? If there's 9 times out of 10, if there's an altercation or a beef between the coach and the player, the coach is the one gone, not the player. You know what I mean? Like, you got to watch what you're saying now.
And say what you want to say about Tom Thibodeau's communication. He showed Fournier, because every time RJ couldn't play, Fournier was in the rotation. That's when Fournier was situational. So he can talk to you all you want. He showed you when RJ isn't playing, that's when you're going to get in the rotation. And whenever RJ was out, Fournier was in the rotation.
He wasn't ready.
I mean, that, Anyway, let me read these super chats. Shout out to Bobby Santiago. Appreciate you. If we need a power forward to give Julius Randle a breather, why don't we bring back Taj Gibson? Do you think Taj would come back? Is he too old? That's a if it was the Taj Gibson of 2 years ago, I think he would be great for that 12 to 14 minutes behind Randall. I just don't know if he's still that guy 2 years later. Anybody? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really see him last year. I didn't really see him last year.
Yeah, I was talking about 2 years ago when he was on the Knicks.
No, I'm just saying, even this past season, though, I really didn't see him really playing to even say, is he even ready to come back this year?
He's still Taj.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, Shuttle? He scored like 4 3-pointers on us.
Yeah, he told us.
We played him.
How can I forget? How can I forget?
Paris Duggar, thank you for the super chat. Or Fournier spoke up for Kemba, Obi, Cam, etc. Bravo. And then the next one, and not because those guys were great, it's because everyone deserves respect. Nobody on this panel or in this chat wouldn't stand for no communication at work. I just think y'all being overly sensitive because it's not no communication. You guys want continued.
When I got questions, I knock on the door, literally or figuratively at my job.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, Shadow.
Right.
I feel like there's a barrier or something, I'm going right to my boss. What's going on? What's up?
Right.
And I knock on the door. Like, I'm not gonna be having conversations like these with anybody talking about, I don't know if I'm coming or going at my job. Like, what we ain't nobody got time for that. Like, you better find out where you get in and where you fit in. That's up to you. It's your job. You don't know what to do at your job? Come on. What's wrong with you?
I mean, yeah, that's a good point that they could have went to Tibbs and asked for clarification too.
Yo, you gotta look in the mirror. Yo, why is all the responsibility only on the coach? If the coach can communicate with you, why can't you communicate with the coach?
That's true. It's a two-way street, of course.
Yeah, I mean, like I think Steph kind of alluded to it, real quickly. Is like, it's not like, is it like, hey coach, hey, what's going on? And like, he's just dubbing them. Like, I don't think it's that kind of relationship. You know what I mean? He might not have a lot to say, but I don't think he's being that outwardly disrespectful. And if he's telling everybody to stay ready and get ready, hey guys, listen, everybody be ready, including you guys. It's not really playing that much. I need you guys all to be ready. That's the message. Like, there's nothing else to talk about.
Well, when Obi Toppin made his little statement when they recorded him, without his will, he didn't know that he was being recorded and he was saying what he was saying. That's a telltale too, man, because he's yelling and screaming like, "Yo, Ted, what you doing, bro?" Whatever he was saying, that if that's conversations that's happening in the locker room, then that tells you right there that the communication is poor out there. Yeah, and that's somebody in the rotation.
But you know what that shows? That shows Obi's communication is poor, because even if that wasn't recorded, what do you think Tibbs' response was if he gave a response. Because I don't think he would have gave a response. But if he did, it's probably something that he shouldn't have been recorded saying either. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how you communicate to your coach.
But if there's a situation where Tom Thibodeau's not responding to you in a normal way, then that's the end result of what happens when there's no communication. Yelling and screaming.
What's Obi's expectation? Obi's expectation is that he gets more time. Obi's expectation is that if he plays well, he stays in the game. It's not going to happen when you're playing behind Randall. It's just not going to happen. You could go up there and drop 29 points. When it's Randall time to come in, he's coming back in. That's just how it works in the NBA. I think we're coming to the NBA with like college or high school sensibilities. That's just not how it works. And these guys, it's a pecking order. They get their time. Even when they're not shooting well, they get that opportunity to shoot themselves out of it because they earn that. You're not going to have a Randall or anybody feeling like, oh, if I don't shoot lights out, I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out the game. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, Obi was foul for that.
So to the chat, man, you hit the like button. 230 people listening, only 111 hitting that like button, man. Come on, let's go. You know, the show's hot. I know y'all enjoying the show because y'all sticking around. Hit the like button.
Yeah. Blacked out my tips because of favoritism. What's the? Yeah. Okay. All right. So.
Yeah, he favorites all NBA players.
Well, it's not favoritism, but there are guys who don't perform and he's not as harsh on them. I don't know if you call that favoritism. Listen, RJ Barrett's been stinking up the joint all year, all right? And he stays in the games. He playing heavy minutes. He falls asleep on defense. He doesn't go back. He doesn't rotate, and he gets playing time. Do you call that favoritism, or do you? I don't know. Maybe he sees a high ceiling in RJ. I don't know what you call it, but it's just not consistent.
Right. But RJ Barrett was also, I think the front office may have something to do with that as well. And I will say, as soon as Josh Hart came on this team, RJ Barrett's minutes went down.
Including fourth quarters, he was hitting there on the bench. Hart was in the game at the end of games.
Right.
And so did Grimes.
There was no option. You had to play. There was no backup three, you know? But as soon as Hart came, that changed.
And that's the difference between RJ and Obi, is that RJ came to the team essentially with no threat at the three.
Right.
For minutes. And until Hart got here, he basically had zero threat for minutes.
Right.
I thought Cam potentially could have gave him some threat for minutes last year, but we saw how that worked out.
And somebody said it earlier, if Obi could have gave him a threat at some 3 minutes, you know what I mean?
Somebody did say that. I forgot who they was. Was it you, Boogie, who said you should survey the team and be like, I ain't gonna be able to get his minutes. But
see the opportunity
able to get his minutes.
But he got no handle. Right, Boogie? He said he got no handle. He got no handle. He got no move. He got no moves facing the basket. So there's no room for you to play the three. Like, the reason you're not playing is your fault. Because there was definitely an opportunity.
Right. B-baller for real. Was Obi ready when Randall was out? Did he earn more minutes? Yes, but there was no more minutes to be had, B-baller for real. And they did the right thing by moving him on so that he can get more minutes. Listen, there wasn't a position battle between Randall and Obi. There wasn't a position battle. Randall was the better player. This happens all the time throughout NBA history, and you have to make a decision at some point. You're either going to get rid of the veteran and let that young guy take his spot, or you're going to move the young guy to give him a better opportunity. It happens all the time. They moved Obi to get him a better opportunity. So it's not like this was a position battle and the minutes should have been split and Randall's minutes should have came down and Obi should. No. But they did the right thing by moving him. So now he can get an opportunity. Eru, you wanted to say something?
I always want to say something, but it's like I look at Obi Toppin and Anthony Mason. I was comparing them, those two guys on my pod. Like Anthony Mason didn't see Charles Oakley and say, "Listen, I'm not going to get no minutes. I'm going to be complaining. Put me on a different team and stuff." Mason just balled out, and then he played. So if Obi Toppin got better, and he balled out and he was playing to that level, then he would have gotten a lot more minutes. And he probably would still be on the team.
That's a good point. And I asked this question. I don't know if it was here or on the Just Nick in the show. Did Obi put enough pressure on the coaching on the coaching staff and Randall where they had to even think about moving Randall or even think about playing him at another position? Because you're right, when a player balls out, you gotta make room for them.
Just a simple fact too. He's always in the corner waiting for threes. But how many times did you see him pump fake drive and just banging on somebody? Never. He's never done that. Obi Toppin.
See, nowadays you don't even get to see him practice. Back in the day, you used to be able to go watch him practice at Nassau Coliseum. I used to be able to watch Rod Strickland kill Mark Jackson. They used to let you up in there, but now they don't let you up in there. You know what I'm saying? And so you can see who's doing what. That's where it starts from. It's in practice. Every day I'm going at you. I'm here to get you. And that's why I was saying about Dante going at them guys, Grimes and all. Dante looking for a starting spot. And he's looking to go ahead and crush people inside practice. That's where it all starts from. If you're not doing nothing to perform or put on inside your practice, there ain't no need for me moping and contemplating about what you should be doing and how much you should be playing and all this and that inside, when it's game time. And you ain't doing it inside the practice. So I don't know what is work ethic or anything. I'm just talking about in general. If I want somebody's spot, I'm going to let it be known that, I'm coming to see about you right now inside the practice. I got to see about you. That's the way I'm getting on the court. Especially if I ain't got no other skills. And you said Mason, they used Mason at point forward at time. Even with Oakley out there. Other things he can do, but Obi just don't have other things he can do.
Yep. Mason brought a different dynamic to the game when he came in. So you guess what? He was able to play alongside of Charles Smith or whatever other big was there because he brought a different dynamic.
Even Oakley. And he didn't come to the team. And he didn't come to the team with all of this handling, passing. He had a little bit, but I mean, he sort of, like you said, he saw the opportunity. Where can I fit in? It's like, oh man, you can handle that ball a little better. We might get a couple of minutes for you. Right. Oh, well, I see how you handling the ball. You keep handling the ball like that. I can get you some more playing time. Yeah, that's how you earn. That's how you earn minutes. And to Quickly's credit, that's what got him to where he's at from year 1 to year 3. Improved defense, smarter handling of the ball, smarter shot selection.
Decision making, no doubt.
Decision making. Yeah. So like he improved so significantly from year 1 to year 3. He gotta get minutes. He gotta get minutes, even if it's playing some small ball with him and Brunson. Sometimes he earned it. And
I'm sorry.
Obi was good enough when Randall was hurt and didn't play to play in Randall's place, but he did not do enough to say when Randall's here that he needs to play alongside Randall and that there was any room to make that happen.
Right. And I will say this about Quickly. I wonder if Thibodeau felt comfortable going to that 9-man rotation because Quickly was putting pressure on them. Because remember, in that 10-man rotation, where's Quickly playing? You're gonna do a minute share with Grimes. You're gonna play behind Brunson. It's not a lot of minutes there. So one of the benefits, I wonder if him putting pressure on, the coaching staff to say, you know what, we're 10 and 13, we got a 10-man rotation, we're not playing well. They probably was looking at the lineups too, seeing every lineup Quickly was in, at least defensively. Was performing well. You know what? Let's go to this 9-man rotation and we can give this guy extra minutes because he's earned it. And he did. Because remember, he played from his rookie year, he always got minutes. But when that decision making got better, that's when you saw his role really expand on the team.
I might have to give him IQ back, Steph. Remember I told you I couldn't call him IQ. I might have to give him IQ. I might have to give it back to him.
Yeah. So now that we on IQ, let me just read some, and then I'll have a question about IQ. This happens on every team. Players that don't play much get disgruntled. They blame the coach, etc. If you want to play, force the coach to keep you on the floor through your play. Yeah, and Obi's it was harder for him because he was never going to force himself to play over Randall. So he would have had to force Tom's hand another way, that I can play the three, or I can rebound enough at that four position so that you can move Randall to five. But anyway, now that we're talking about Quick, why do you think he hasn't gotten the opportunity at the two guard? They didn't give him an opportunity at the one guard either, right? They saw him for 2 years. They still decided to go out and get Brunson. That's fine. That's worked out for us. But they're not giving him the opportunity at the two guard either. I don't know. When I was looking over those stats, like I told you on cleaning the glass, at least defensively, those lineups were better with Quickly and Brunson.
Can I lead this one?
Yeah.
I think first, let me go on record. I've been calling for Quickly to start for a couple of years, right? Coming before last year started, I was like, why not him? Before we got Brunson, I wanted him to start at point guard, to be honest. Yes. But I think the main reason, because I think you clarified that those stats that you were referring to were all defensive based, right?
Defensive, yes.
So defensively, I think he's equipped to start. But when you bring him in that starting lineup, it starts taking away from some of his strengths offensively, right? I think he's more valuable off the bench as a microwave scorer, potentially, but not losing that defensively. But when you put him in that starting lineup, without looking at any stats or numbers, you have to think that his offensive production dips on the floor with a Brunson, on the floor with an RJ, on the floor with a Randall. So I think in that second unit, he's free to be who he is, 100%. You know what I mean? Go be a bucket, keep playing that good defense, etc., etc. Grimes, on the other hand, I think he has the potential to be better offensively, but he fits right into that. I do. I think he's gonna have to pull that out of himself, though. I don't think it has to do with his role, but right now his role suits his game. He's not aggressive enough, right? So he can feed off of the other guys around him and still give that solid defense. I'm looking for him to pick up that aggressiveness, and I think his offensive game will be better. But I think that's why Tibbs. I think that's why Quick hasn't started yet, because offensively you're gonna lose some.
Well, Tony, if memory serves me right, there's a feedback somewhere.
There's feedback somewhere.
IQ's best games they were the ones he started when Jalen Brunson was out. Those were his best games. So what are you saying that he's better? I don't get.
Well, I'm specifically talking about the two guard. Again, before we got Brunson, I was the one saying, "Yo, why not just move quickly to the starting point guard role?" I think he could thrive in that role. He's not going to get that starting point guard role over Brunson. Not at this point. Not right now. You know what I mean? So I'm referring to him why he's not starting at the two. I don't think it's even. You're not starting him over Brunson at this point. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna have to show and do a lot more to get the nod over Brunson at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't understand the question, because he's not starting at either guard position.
Well, she was referring over Grimes, right?
Right. Right. And you make a good point. Grimes is more suited to just a catch and shoot guy. Quickly got a little bit more. Grimes might have a little bit more in his game as well. But I think Grimes is okay playing that catch and shoot role for now. Quickly isn't. And I just think him, Brunson, and Randall in that starting lineups, as I'm answering my own question, on the offensive end might be too messy. I don't know if Quick will be able to be Quick, to your point, playing with those two guys.
Yeah, him and Brunson in short spurts is different than them starting together.
Yeah. Defensively, they're better. Those lineups are better, but offensively, yes.
I'm sorry. Let me ask this: if Donovan Mitchell was here, would he be just a catch and shoot guy? You know.
That's true. They would. You're right. They would work it out.
But the question with Donovan Mitchell, at least for me, was always going to be the defensive end.
Right.
And that's where Quickly does excel. And I'm not saying Quickly can't. I wouldn't mind if he starts, but then I'm gonna be looking for Grimes to pick up that aggression on the offensive end in that second unit. You know what I mean? So that's what I think we lose. Quickly has the ability to take over a game, whether that's in the second unit or the first unit. We're not going to lose that ability, but if you put him in the starting lineup, he may not have the opportunity to take over a game with the likes of a Brunson, a Randall, or RJ on the floor with him. He'll have that opportunity in that second unit. Grimes, he may have the opportunity but not seize it. You know what I mean? IQ's going to seize it.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think of John Starks. You know, John Starks was like 6th man of the year kind of guy, and then he became a starter, became an all-star player. You know, so it's really about opportunity. If the Knicks think that he could be a starter, they just would have to just do it, and then just let the chips fall where they may. You know.
Yeah, but you just brought in DiVincenzo though, so so that's not really seeming like the path has been opened for that to even happen for Quickly, to be honest.
Right.
No, he got to take it. That's the thing. I think we're gonna have a great rotation at that 2 guard of inner competition. So I think we're gonna get the best we've seen from Grimes. I think we're gonna see the best we've seen from Quickly, and I think DiVincenzo. I mean, he's never been on the Knicks, but I think he's gonna have a breakout year as well. Because I think they all gonna be fighting and pushing each other, still sharpening steel. Like they all gotta kind of not necessarily look over their shoulder in a bad way, but there's competition between those 3 guys. I think all 3 of them have a legitimate argument of starting. All 3 of them. And I think they're gonna push each other in this offseason. I wish we had that kind of inner competition amongst all our positions. But right now the 2 guards seems like
RJ. Like RJ.
Yeah. Like Boogie said, I wish we can watch practice, man. I wish we can get up there and see that. I want to see that battle, man. I want to see them fighting for their lives for those spots, man.
Yeah. That's a good point you brought up a little earlier. If Brunson and Mitchell was here, that would take some getting used to. They would have to find that balance, because both of those guys are really good off the dribble, and that would be similar with Quickly and Brunson.
And similar, that's why that and Garland had a little bit of a challenge, figuring it out.
But is it best for the team rotation wise? You're true, because in that second unit, you're right. Grimes is not really aggressive, at least up to this point. So you would have, and who would handle the ball in that second unit? First of all,
yeah,
who would you take? I mean, it depends. If IQ's in it, I think DiVincenzo has the ability to. You know what I mean? But
he could do that.
I haven't seen him enough, so right now I'm saying I would rather the ball in IQ's hand.
That's why IQ has been so good since day one, since he's been here. Because year to year, he's been able to adjust his game and add things to his game and become things that he didn't think he would probably do, and everything in the small ways. He's not a point guard, but he learned how to become a point guard, in certain spurts, and he's getting a little better and better at it as time goes on. But if we got people that's playing their natural positions, then I think things are smoother. Another point guard. We do need another point guard on this. Just one natural point guard that can back him up. Because right now it's gonna be hard for Deuce, and that's okay with Deuce. But Deuce he's gonna be the odd man out. He's not really supposed to see no burn or anything like that with these guys on the floor right now, unless somebody's injured, hurt, something like that. He's supposed to be all the way down. IQ guy here wasn't like that. He didn't have nobody in his place. One guy that was up here, anybody could have took that. Somebody on this panel could have took that spot. But once he started taking that spotlight and that shine for them, he should have just kept developing right then and there. But when we didn't, you know what I'm saying, we allowed that situation where somebody could have became a year-long point guard to become just staying packed in natural position. And like I just said, now that Brunson here, he can never get that spot. But putting him next to Brunson in the starting lineup, it could work from time to time. Brunson can play off the ball. He did that with Luka, but Luka's a bigger guy. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's still with the point guard, point forward, but with them two guys, that's going to take a lot away from us. That's going to take a lot away from us, especially coming off that bench. Like you said, who's going to handle the rock? Nobody's going to be able to handle the rock, you know what I'm saying, without being looking out of their normal and natural position. So.
Yeah. I want to get anything else. I want to get to this. Is already 11 o'clock. So I do want to get to the athletic article. Anybody had anything to say about anything we discussed to say? DiVincenzo, Obi, Randall, RJ, Fournier, Tibbs.
We didn't discuss Randall though.
We didn't right. We didn't discuss it.
All I gotta say is I'm happy to be back.
I know, right? Got a little heated here. We talking about Fournier.
I mean, we got to, because I can't have you guys all agreeing and don't nobody disagree. So I gotta play the devil's advocate.
You know what I mean?
Even though I don't agree with what I'm saying. I don't even agree with what I'm saying, but I got to be the other side.
It can't be all lovey-dovey up in here all the time.
Yeah,
Ebru was channeling his inner Andy.
Right. Andy would be proud. Yeah. All right. So there was let me put this up. There was an article in the Athletic. Oh man, I meant to get to. Can somebody please tell me who wrote the article? This was just his. Oh, let me move.
I think his name was Fred Katz.
That was Katz.
Katz did this article.
I think Fred Katz did that.
Was it Katz? I don't think it was Katz. I think it was somebody. I think it was somebody else. But whoever, basically, he said this is just what he thinks. This is just his thoughts. So basically, he took the 30 teams and he put them in 6 categories. So the contenders, he had Denver, Milwaukee, Golden State, Boston, and Phoenix. On the brink of contention, the Lakers and Miami. To me, Miami got on a hot run. I'm not taking anything away from them. They beat Milwaukee. They beat us. They beat Boston. They lost some key pieces. Miami reminds me of Atlanta a few years ago. But anyway, they have them on the brink of contention. Playoff hopefuls. These are the teams that they think will make the finish 1 through 6. Sacramento, Cleveland, Memphis, the Clippers, and Philly. Both conferences. Play-in. The play-in doesn't look like death for your season, but you in the play-in. Knicks, Minnesota, Oklahoma, New Orleans, Dallas, and Atlanta. And then they have the tanking teams and those people right on the edge of competing: Utah, Toronto, Indiana, blah, 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 blah. I thought now I know the Knicks didn't make a lot of moves. So we are relying on chemistry, better chemistry. We're relying on internal growth. We're relying on better shooting. Like, these are the things we are, relying on. And he said in the article that the Knicks didn't make a lot of moves, so they didn't get better. But that doesn't mean we got worse. That doesn't mean we got worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the part I didn't get.
If we just staying the same, I feel like we should be playoff hopefuls.
No, because he's assuming other teams got better. If you stay the same, other teams got better, so you automatically drop.
But can you bring that back up?
Shuttle, you muted.
Sure, let me bring it.
Definitely, because Tone, I'll patiently let you ride it out first.
All right.
Did Boston definitively get better? Did Miami definitively get better? I don't know. Did that damn little trade go through yet? Because I think they lost a couple of rotational pieces, whether they was G Leaguers or second rounders or whatever you want to call it. They was big for them.
Yeah, but they don't even have a full roster yet, I don't think.
But that's what I mean. So the argument that these teams that got better, did Philly get better? They in the midst of who knows what is going to happen.
According to that writer, they did. That's the assumption, that those teams got better.
But again, I'm just saying why I disagree with it. I feel like we did, even if you don't count the DiVincenzo trade, and we just stayed the same of where we projected last year or where we actually finished last year, I think we should still be in that category of playoff hopefuls. And I feel like if you give us any bit of improvement, whether you think DiVincenzo moves the needle a little bit, or whether you go on the assumption that we're gonna make another move and get better, then you got to put us somewhere in between brink of contention and playoff hopefuls. We didn't get worse, so why would we go from 5th seed to 7th seed?
Well, if I could just do some simple mathematics here, okay. I would think that you would have 6 from the East and 6 from the West that cover the first 3 categories,
right?
And instead they have 7 from the West and 5 from the East. So you can't say these are the top 6, and then you only have 5 teams from the East.
Right.
That are in this category.
I noticed that too.
They just don't want to put the Knicks in.
Yeah, it was Knicks for clicks.
They just refuse to put the Knicks in there.
So which would mean by default in the next play-in battleground area, you have all those teams there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Aside from the Knicks, Atlanta is the only other team from the East. So that means you would have to put the Knicks, just by numerics, you'd have to put them up into playoff hopefuls, and then you might have to say like LA Clippers / Memphis / Sacramento might be one of the teams that would not be in that top 6. Yep. And I can see where you might want to put one of them up there because they're such good teams. I get it, but you got to put the Knicks in the top 6. That's ridiculous. Whoever you are. Writing this article, you're ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about, and quite frankly, I mean, like after Boston and Milwaukee, to me is completely up for grabs. Like the Knicks could be as high as 3, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Cleveland
got better in terms of their shooting. They did.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland. To me, Cleveland, I look at as almost like as a parallel of the Knicks, like teams that they got new pieces last year, kind of the familiarity, the camaraderie, the togetherness, all of that, and another year together to excel and improve. To me, they're just on the same page the Knicks are on. So
I think they got better shooters though. They did address the shooters this offseason.
I mean, they had a defensive player of the year candidate. They got an all-star in Garland. They got Spider on the team. I mean, they got a solid defensive center, Jared Allen. Kuru is coming along. So, they got enough pieces where it's a solid team. So, again, they're a team that could fall into 3. I wouldn't be shocked if they fell into 3.
Right. Who did they bring in? They brought in 2 shooters.
Max Strus,
I think.
Yeah. Max Strus.
Strus from Miami.
And they brought somebody else.
I don't know how to say his name.
The guy from Philly, Yeah.
Yang or Nang.
Yeah. Yep.
Jiang.
Jiang.
Yeah. So yeah. But I will say this, that I think people are underestimating. Say what you want about playoff Randall. regular season Randall and regular season Brunson, the Knicks got one of the best duos in the entire league in those two guys.
I agree.
And I expect both of them to be better. And the question just becomes, are we going to get enough shooting around those two guys this season? And I'll tell you one other thing. If regular season Randall ever becomes playoff Randall, and I'm not giving up on that because he's only had 15 playoff games, and I do think you get better the more you go. We having a different conversation about what the Knicks need if he ever becomes playoff Randall.
If playoff Randall is regular season Randall and playoff RJ Barrett is regular season RJ Barrett, forget it. We're top 3, man. We're top 3. So if
Barrett becomes regular season,
if regular season Barrett plays this like that, if not, yeah, right, that's right, exactly, right,
yeah, playoffs, yeah,
I confuse myself.
Yeah, the RJ we got in the playoffs, if he becomes, yeah, you're right.
If we become regular season like that in the regular season, and Randall plays the way he played in the regular season, play like that in the playoff, then we're gonna be a force to reckon.
The league might some of these commentators and wherever all this stuff be coming from, they might act like they don't know it, but FIBA know it. And if they don't know it, we know it. We got the best point guard in the East. All hands down. By heart. By the will of playoffs. I don't see no other point guard in the East really that's on this level. I don't see what he did to James all year. He destroyed James. I don't see what he did to both of them guys in Cleveland. I don't see what he did, quote unquote, what was supposed to be so great of a defensive-minded coach in Strosser in Miami. By any means, I'm still going to put up these 30-somethings and 40-somethings. You know what I'm saying? So with Boston losing out 2 defensive players, they number 1 defensive player in the year 2 years ago, and they number 1 heart and soul, their second heart and soul dude that went to Dallas, they ain't got nobody that's going to fight for nobody no more in Boston. Porzingis ain't going to fight. They ain't got all their heart and all that, that's gone. Philly breaking up. Milwaukee, they just got back together. That's all they did. Cleveland, they dynamite. Hopefully the same way Miami used to be our dynamite. They ain't even gonna mess with us. So the thing is, we gotta stay above the guys that's up under us. Charlotte's gonna get better. I'm just gonna keep it right there, Charlotte. But right now, I don't listen to what them guys be talking about. Let them say it last year. We weren't supposed to do none of that what we did this year. And, this is our second time around. This is a different Brunson coming in now. Now I know I don't have to prove to everybody. Now they know that this is my team. Now I can get everybody in the right situation, right where they're supposed to be at. Now they know I'm the leader of this squad. It's a whole lot of difference on the team right now, And Julius even said it in the Paul George interview. This is our first year together. We can get better. All those doors is open. So they say what we didn't add, we already had. And all we did was put one more person to it. So, they can feel how they want to feel. I just believe we're going to be somewhere between that 3 and that 5. I don't think it's going to be that 6, go step down from 5 to 6. I think it's going to be between 3 and 5 this year. Because one thing about it, Tom has us ready to go throughout the whole season all way long. And now, like I said the other day, the commissioner got an in-game tournament going on. So we already battle-tested during the regular season early. And we already trained to go with all these long extra minutes. But a lot of these dudes, they ain't even going to be able to fight. That's why it's a good chance for us this year to do some damage later on in the season, especially when everybody got to fight for this in-game tournament. You know what I'm saying? We used to fighting all year long. So what our bracket? We got Milwaukee, we got Miami, we got Charlotte, we got Washington. So what? We used to having them tough games and playing a lot of minutes all year long. So a lot of these teams, they ain't used to playing all these minutes early in the season. They want to sit guys down and save them and all that. Ain't no more saving no more at all, period. So let's see who's going to fit. The battle of the finish line is happening this year. A total different season. Battle of the finish line. And I still got faith in Julius. I got a whole lot of faith in Jalen. Whole lot of faith. And I pray on RJ, yo. I pray on RJ. I keep it real. I pray for him. But I know we got some goons on that bench. A three-headed monster. Godzilla ain't like fighting 300 dinosaurs. That's what we got. Three-headed dinosaurs on that bench with IQ and Josh. We got a whole. That's like getting another player. We got a whole year, Josh. We have him but for half a season, and we got Dante. And don't be, Leon gonna make a rule. He gonna make a move at the deadline. You know he is. He gonna make a move because he got to make a space. Two guys gonna go off this team, and he gonna bring something else on this team by the trade deadline. He gonna see. I love the haters and doubters.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think happens first? Regular season Randall becomes playoff Randall, or the Knicks trade for a star? What do you think has a better chance of happening?
Julius is going to be here. Julius is going to play his contract out to his last year. I believe Julius will perform better in the playoffs before we trade him. But unless something majorly comes about, I got to still keep the door. Unless something comes majorly about where we can move Julius and the team want Julius and all that, and it's going to go down like that, then that's a different scenario. So that keeps it kind of hard. But as far as me thinking, Julius is going to be on this team because that's our punch. I'm looking for us to have 2 all-stars on this year.
But do you still believe he can be who he is in the regular season in the playoffs?
I really do think something has something to do with that foot that they signed. I think I believe Julius, I believe that foot, that high ankle sprain really hindered him. I think it did, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he was faking. I don't think it was so much impressive because he had a cake line for who his matchup was. He'd been destroying Cleveland. He averaged 31 points all game, all season against Miami. But a high ankle sprain that you get and then you come back and then you redo it. A lot of people, a lot of us, we just jumped on top of him. You know what I'm saying? When he didn't deserve some of that dirt being thrown on top of him. You know what I'm saying? Just be mad that we didn't get through. But I think if Julius was healthy, I think we would have got through Miami. That's what I feel.
And anybody else? What happens first? What do you think is most likely to happen? Randall becomes regular season Randall becomes playoff Randall, or we trade for a star?
I'm agree with Jay Boogie with the asterisk if Randall obviously is included in the trade for a star. My bad. My mic's all the way over here.
But why would you even need a star? Like for me, if regular season Randall becomes playoff Randall, do you even need a star?
No. My asterisk is if we trade Randall before we get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like that would be the only.
Say he's there.
If he's there, I think bringing a star and we still get playoff Randall in the regular season Randall in the playoffs because I think it'll be easier for him. We tend to forget the amount of double teams he faces night in and night out. The facilitating he does night in and night out. Like if the load is not as heavy for him, I think it becomes easier.
All right, you answering a different question, but I hear you.
But I agree. I think Randall first. Randall having a playoff performance first.
Agreed.
And I agree with Julius Caesar. He's got nothing else to prove, man. He's got to become, he's got to perform in the playoff like he's been performing in the regular season. And I think that's going to happen first. With that front office don't like to trade. They want to be pulled no trade. So Julius Randle could be here 5 years from now. We're going to be waiting for him to get better before the front office pull a trade.
But do you think it's even possible? Because I know there's some in the fan base who doesn't think that's even possible. But I'm just thinking, rethinking. He's only played 15 playoff games. I think it's still, some people will say he's been in the league coming up his 10th year. He is who he's going to be. But he's been in the playoffs twice.
He can get better. He will get better.
More there.
You said that before, Queen, on the last show when he was on Dope Soul. And I'm gonna say the same thing. When you say that people say, do they think he can become what he is or whatever the line, which way you said it.
Mm-hmm.
I let you know that, you know, Julius is not going to become something that he never was just overnight. And he mentioned that to Paul George. I'm not a number one. I've never been, and everybody wants him to be something that he's not. You know what I'm saying? That's not never been his role from Kentucky all the way to New Orleans to the Lakers and now trying to be that in New York when we have one. Of course, everybody gonna look at it like, yeah, you the number one, you making the most money and all this and that. But just becoming a number one and you ain't never been a number one in your life, especially up under this media, that's not something you do overnight. So I respected him when he say I'm really not that. I'm used to being 2 or 3 or something like that. Julius slides down, and we talked about that big bear. Like, say if that big bear comes around, we could move in. He's the next to that dude. Oh, Julius would go crazy. But Julius is not going to be the number one like that overnight in the media like this. Nobody, no. I mean, Melo did it. Melo's a different type ball player. He's been scoring all his life.
Yeah,
But
he was that before. He was that before he got here.
Who that? Melo?
Melo.
Yeah, he been that his whole life, a scorer, a bucket getter. Julius ain't been that. You got to learn how to be the number one option. You got to learn all that, how to get a big bucket, how to make a big free throw, how to learn when they double teaming you. He don't even know how to pass out of that. I ain't never been in that position. We throw so much at him because we want a number one so bad. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff we get him, he don't deserve it. But some of the stuff we get him, he do deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna take all the blame away from him. He does deserve some things. But if he get that thinking game going on this all season, like you said, now I get to watch plays. I get to watch film and all that. I never watched that. Why his foot is wrapped up and he can learn from that and understand basketball a little bit more, he'll be a different type player come next season. Because IQ levels is a whole lot different than just skill sets and everything. When you can think that game and think it before it actually happened, and stuff like that, you're a better ball player.
Right. I just want to say for those who came in late, the title should have been "Can RJ play power forward?" I think the signals was crossed. Not should he start, but the question is, can he play those backup power forward minutes that
So you're saying that
get vacated?
So you're saying RJ should start?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's nobody else at the small forward position, in my opinion, on this particular team that's better at that position than him. We could talk about whether or not upgrade the position.
We making sure she clarified that statement.
Just clarify, because you had people saying on the internet that we made a big trade and they didn't even know Julius got traded today.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Anything else before I get to this last thing and then we out of here? Okay, so I just want to show for those who may not know, this is the oh no, that's not what I wanted to show. Well, this is the team, but what I wanted to show was, hold on. There it is, the World Cup schedule. So the Knicks are gonna the USA FIBA World Cup is coming up. The Knicks are gonna the USA team.
It's the Knicks.
5 games to tune up for the World Cup, which is going to be in the Philippines. So this is the schedule. August 7th, 12th, 13th, 18th, and 19th is the USA Basketball Showcase. And we're playing Puerto Rico, Slovenia, Spain, Greece, and Germany. The time for the Slovenia game on August 12th is to be announced. And then there's 3 guaranteed games. And then I think you go into pool play. I don't know how it works.
Group stage is the first 3 games is group stage. Then you go into the elimination stage.
Right. Right. So that is the FIBA World Cup schedule, and both Jalen Brunson. Well, I don't know if people may not know who's going to be on the team. That doesn't look really clear to me. But both Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart for our team will be on the team.
And Mikal Bridges.
And Mikal and Mikal Bridges will be on the team.
I'm just throwing it out.
And Grimes will be practicing, against the team as they get ready, for the FIBA World Cup. Any thoughts on Josh Hart and Brunson playing in the World Cup? Any thoughts on Grimes being selected for, what is that? The select team to
the
practice?
Select team. Yeah, I think that's big for Grimes to go up against the main team, potentially be a injury replacement. You know what I mean? I think that'll be real good for him though, just to match up against some of the elite players in the US. I mean, he does it every night anyway for the Knicks, but it may be like something that sparks the next year, this year coming up.
Stepping stone. Stepping stone.
You know what I mean? Like just like the rookie sophomore game. You know what I mean? Like he came out after that game with a little bit more confidence moving forward. So maybe this could give him some confidence moving into the season.
Now, little known fact, he was on the 18 and under team as well. So, and that's the thing, like sometimes like we got to remember Grimes was top 10 in his class along with RJ and Zion. So like I've been saying this since the trade talk with Spider last year. Grimes is nothing. Grimes is nothing.
Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish was top 10 in there too.
We ain't talking about Cam Reddish.
I'm just saying.
I'm talking about my boy Grimes.
I'm just
why
saying.
You coming in with that negativity right now? I don't know why you. I'm talking about Grimes. I'm talking about Grimes. He gonna just pour in with this negativity. You and Fournier, don't come into camp. Don't come to camp. You and Fournier, stay home with that negativity.
It's true though. He was there. He was 10.
Stay home with that negativity. You're talking about Cam Reddish right now. Grimes was in that top 10 with his class, and he also played international 18 and under. So he's used to this spotlight thing. And I'm just saying that all to say that I think that this speaks to the player that he can become. Man, this guy comes from a coaching pedigree with a parent. And I just think he's just like a player that knows how to fit in where he needs to fit in, which is why he hasn't been maybe overly IQ type, assertive and aggressive, and had to scale him back. It's like as a DJ, I'd rather you tell me the music is not loud enough and for me to turn it up versus the music's too loud and you'd be like, damn DJ, can you turn the music down? So, I'm good with Grimes being turned up. And I meant to say this earlier, kind of related with Fournier. He's going to be playing on the France team this summer. And my hope is that he plays decent and gets some trade value. That's sidebar.
Right. But I think teams know what Fournier can do. That's why I don't understand the whole tanking value. I think they know what he can do.
Yeah, but it's different.
And what he can't.
It's different to see it this summer, though.
Make sure you didn't lose anything.
Yeah. You ain't played all year last year. Okay. Oh no, you still balling. Okay, maybe we can do something with this guy.
Yeah, let's hope he channels that inner Goku, like he was talking about.
I agree with the Queen. Teams know what he can or can't do, and taking him out of the lineup was actually the right basketball thing to do. Because listen, you can't really argue that we went on winning streaks after that, right? I mean, we won. After that, taking him and Cam Reddish out of the starting line and Derrick Rose. Well, Derrick Rose was never in the lineup, really. It was situational. But taking those two guys out of rotation give great results. So teams know what they can or can't do. So I don't think the summer is going to make a difference.
Yeah, he'll have extra motivation though. Like when Kemba came back in, he dropped like 69 points when they put him back in the rotation. Fournier is going to be the MVP.
When Fournier played Boston, remember when he played Boston with this motivation.
Right.
It's all right because he got a guard IQ. He got a guard DiVincenzo.
Well,
So
yeah, and Quinn Grimes gonna be guarding him, so he's not gonna be going off. Quinn Grimes is a better player at this point than Evan Fournier.
one thing I
Better
will say
all around
about,
player.
Let me find out y'all
Grimes.
love Evan. Y'all brought him back in the conversation, man. Let me find
Right.
out.
Those ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. I keep my mouth shut.
To be honest with you, man, I think it's a great situation to know that we got a bunch of orange and blue over there playing that fever. If I'm not mistaken, Steve has already said that, this is Brunson's team. I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
I
he
think
did say he's gonna lean on him, and it was somebody else a lot.
right. So that says a lot for us to have a starting point guard. He's putting that Spalding in that man's hand, and then the way I feel like, it's my team. Let me bring one of my guys. He brought Josh over there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as with Grimes going over there, this is a perfect opportunity for Grimes to work out. Do not miss out on this opportunity. This is no fake workout. This is not working out with your mans and none of that. All that what you've been working out on during this time right here. This is the time to showcase that against real speed, real time. Because them guys right there know that y'all guys are trying to take a spot if, one of them guys become injured.
Yep.
But them guys is also want to keep their spots. But this is a great test for Grimes to go out there and showcase what he's been working on, and doing what he got to do. And not be hesitant, be a scorer, be looking to shoot, not looking to shoot, looking to take shots. We already know you can shoot the ball, but when you going to start taking shots and let people know I'm a part of something, So this is helpful for Grimes right there. It's helpful for the Knicks. We got a lot going on. We're spreading our love. Our wings is opening up. We're spreading love, y'all. We're spreading love. Even with Evan out there playing, I'll bring him back in the forecast too, man. But still in all, man, I'm looking for Grimes to go ahead. I'm looking for Grimes to go ahead, and I want to hear a good report, good review with Grimes out there going at his homeboy Josh and going at these guys, man. You okay? You try to take my time? Come here, let me clamp you down, Brunson, and all that. Show you what I did to Jimmy. Get at him, Grimes. Get at him.
That's why I mentioned that sophomore rookie game, because similar to that in this select team, his role is going to be something different. You know what I mean? Now you get to showcase. You know what I mean? You don't just got to be a teammate. You don't just got to be a defensive stopper, 3-and-D type guy. Now you get to show some of your skill sets, show some of the things you're working on in the summer, and maybe increase your role coming into the regular season based off of what you're doing against the elite of the USA. So it's a whole new opportunity that he hasn't had on the Knicks that he could bring to the Knicks.
And Tony, somebody mentioned too that like he's a potential replacement in case somebody can't make it or something happens. So that's really good. That's really good.
And
really
I think that's part of, in my opinion, the narrative of the Knicks changing some. That Brunson is being looked at, but even Josh Hart. But now this is Steve Kerr. I believe this is his first year as head coach,
right,
for US. I think he was assistant coach for
yes.
Pop. Prior to it.
Yeah, Pop
so
got
I was
that.
surprised about the Josh Hart. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying Pop got that. He took the break. I got to deal with this big boy I got.
Okay. Any last words? Anything else you want to add on our way out the door?
Great show. Glad to be back.
Fire. Hit that like button on the way out.
Yes, 207 in the chat. 151 likes. So on your way out the door, hit the like button. And for those who came late, the question is, can RJ Barrett play power forward? Not should RJ Barrett come off?
Oh my God, Queen.
Some changes though. Some changes in
disclaimer.
I changed it here, but I'm not able to change it in the
Queen.
You get some threatening messages or something. You done the disclaimer like 5 times.
Queen, mad nervous about that. Queen, you want to plug the Thursday show, Queen?
Oh yeah. Thursday, the Just Nick and the show on the Dope Soul Sports Talk channel. So I'm here in the summertime once a month, not including August. I'll be back once a week here doing the Queen's Court. But every Thursday, I have my own channel for those that don't know, Dope Soul Sports Talk. Every Thursday we have a show, just nicking it. Me, Ajay, Boogie.
If Tony, Shuttle, or
Yeah,
Eru want to come through,
whoever else wants to, come through.
Staff are done when his internet is working.
Right. And then I'll be also, me and Staff are going to do an audio podcast on Julius Randall. I'm going to call it I Cram to Understand, because just certain things I just don't understand. I just don't get. And this is an opportunity to just kind of bring people on who are really high on particular players. And I'm just going to try to be open and just kind of hear what you have to say. So we'll do that. I think me and Jeff Clafter, we're going to do an audio podcast on Mitch.
Oh, I was just about to put my name in the hat for that one.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it could be a panel show, and then me and Tony Crow, we working on something. We'll let you guys know when that comes on. But yeah, Dope Soul Sports Talk. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Anybody else? Any last words?
Yeah, Queen, I just want to say, man, any of y'all got my information and know how to reach out and get to me, man. I just ask that y'all please send me over a skit. This music that I'm getting ready to put out, J Boogie presents Knicks in the Booth. This is the best work I've ever done, point blank, on the Knicks. And I done a lot of good work. This is like, I'm really taking the Knicks in the club with what I'm doing. I don't even need the season. I ain't dropping bars on no players, no nothing. I'm just making New York Knicks records right now. And give DJ Shuttle again my information. You can get with me. We can do a DJ Shuttle J Boogie mixtape, you know what I'm saying? I got all my vocals and everything. We can do something, my guy. So give him my information. But if y'all can send me a skit, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put everybody as much as I can a part of this project, because I'm really, really like doing a project with this, I'm really putting my all into what I got going on right now to really like update this, My man don't drop. He said he dropping again around November. So I gotta make sure I'm on point too. I'm talking about my man Esco. Yeah, stay tuned, Tone. I know you don't know that, but you know that disease form get ready to come back out this year. I know you don't know it. I'm gonna tell you that.
Listen, my ears is percolating, bro.
Yeah. When you say a skit, what does that look like?
No, skit like
like a drop.
Yeah, just a drop of me, like like something like yo, my name's Steph. I'm rocking my man J Boogie, blah blah. Just something real quick, no more than 7-8 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Just
right.
Something what you think. Something small like that. See if I'm trying to get much people as I can as far as like on this project right now. But this going, like I said, this gonna be the best one I don't done. I'm really taking it real serious, because this might be the last one too. I want pretty much everybody involved that I can get involved to help me out with this project.
Okay. Will do. I'll be working on my drops tomorrow, Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be back Wednesday too. Queen, I'm gonna hit you up and see what we can do.
All right. Eru, Tony Crow, DJ Shuttle, J Boogie, Ajay, I appreciate you guys coming through. I don't take it for granted that when I send out the link that you guys show up. It does mean a lot. It's hard to do a show by yourself. I've tried it when I first started Queen's Court. So I definitely appreciate you guys showing up. And anytime you need me to do anything, be on the show, whatever, reach out to me. I'm definitely there. All right. Until next time.